how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, Craneworks. The Craneworks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give Craneworks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call Craneworks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. The NBA is back, and FanDuel is tipping things off by hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay bet. Place your first same-game parlay bet of the NBA season, and if you don't win, you'll get a refund in site credit. Combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger paydays, and you can build your parlay with spreads, the money line, total points, player props. Everything is on the table. The Lakers, very interesting team this year. You've got LeBron James. You've got Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis. All these different names on the same team. That could be a big option for you, but you take it any way you want to take it. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code ROB to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make the most out of the NBA season and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to bet the NBA risk-free. Just use promo code ROB so they know that I sent you. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued is not withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Offer ends on October 21st, 2021. Max refund of $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Nashville's best sports talk. Locally owned. Home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram. 97.5 Murfreesboro. WBUZ HD2 Laverne. Online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving. ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are live today at Bridgestone Arena. Really excited to be here, Preds and LA Kings tonight. We are inside the Patron Platinum Club. We'll have more details on our Preds broadcast here in just a little bit. We are streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It is a Titans Monday. It is a Reaction Monday. Reaction Monday presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, even though it's a Tuesday. I know. But it is a Reaction Monday or a Reaction Tuesday or whatever the hell you want to call it. Caroline Fenton is here. Ian is here. How's everybody today? I'm guessing pretty good.
Doing it great.
Doing good, thank you.
So I want to, well, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, Ian. You know how much you mean. Now, I do want to start with this. And I think we all know where we're starting, and that's the game. And I look at the Titans. And that game last night was one of the most fun games that I have been to at Nissan Stadium in the last 15 years. You know, it didn't have the vibes of the early days because the early days, you had Steve McNair and Eddie George, but the fans were all Titan fans. And since the secondary ticket market has exploded, and since Nashville has become kind of a destination city, and since all of this stuff, it's not going to be the way it used to be back in the day, but that's okay. But yesterday was a fun game. It was up, it was down, it was back, it was forth, it was Buffalo takes the lead, Derrick Henry breaks a big one, Titans get an interception, Titans take the lead, Buffalo takes the lead. It was a fun game. But I don't want to lose sight of what actually happened. Were you surprised by yesterday's results? Were you surprised by what you saw yesterday?
Pleasantly surprised.
But you were surprised.
I wasn't completely floored, like, oh my gosh, I did not expect this to happen, because I think you and I both had just kind of this little feeling that, you know, the Bills are the better team. If we're going to put money on it, we're probably going to put money on the Bills, but there is still that glimmer of hope that the Titans could pull something out. So not completely surprised, but I was pleasantly shocked by what I saw.
Ian, were you surprised by what you saw yesterday?
A little bit, but we have seen this with this team before. We've seen them play this type of game and win this game before.
I was not surprised by anything that I saw yesterday. There was nothing about yesterday's game that surprised me. Now people will say, well, Jared, but you picked the Bills to win big. And I did pick the Bills to win big. But when something happens that you aren't expecting, like that you're not predicting, that doesn't mean that you can't see it coming. And I think everything about yesterday's game, it doesn't show us something that we didn't know about the Titans. It confirms everything that we already know about the Titans. I picked the Jets a couple of weeks ago. And all last week, what did we talk about? The Mike Vrabel special. The idea that somehow over 4 seasons, guys, it's not spontaneous. It is a common occurrence. Vrabel cannot get these boys prepared to play against the Jets. He can get them riled up to play against the best team in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. This isn't new. This has happened. Remember when the Titans couldn't beat the Chargers in London, couldn't beat a bad Buffalo team in 2018, and they beat Dallas on a Monday night, and on a short week, they embarrassed Brady and Belichick at home. I remember that. Remember when they beat the Chiefs in 2019? Remember last year when they embarrassed the Bills? This is nothing new. We talked all week, the Mike Vrabel special. Could they get it done? They did. Derrick Henry. We talked about this yesterday, about elite level players. When I complain about something, for example, Shane Bowen, somebody will always say, well, yes, Jared, but there's injuries, and but there's this, and but there's that. And I said yesterday, when you're elite, when you are elite, there's no complaining. There's no, well, that was a good team. I mean, come on, cut Michael Jordan a break. Nobody cut Michael Jordan a break. He beat Magic Johnson. He beat Clyde Drexler. He beat Karl Malone. He beat the best players every time because he was elite, because he was the best. The Buffalo Bills had the number 1 defense in the NFL going into yesterday's game. The Buffalo Bills defense had the number 3 rushing defense in the NFL going into yesterday's game. The Tennessee Titans before halftime lost their starting left tackle. So now they are playing the number 1 defense in the NFL without either tackle. Were you surprised that Derrick Henry ran for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns? I wasn't. We make excuses for everybody else, but we don't ever have to excuse Derrick Henry. Because Derrick Henry, it doesn't matter who's blocking. It doesn't matter how good the other team is. It doesn't matter how stout their run defense is. Derrick Henry always finds a way because he is the best player in the NFL right now. Now, you may say, well, a quarterback is more important than a running back, and that's fine. You can say whatever you want. Derrick Henry's the best player in the NFL right now. The other arguments, Patrick Mahomes might be, or Aaron Rodgers might be, or are those guys what they're doing right now, statistically speaking, is that the best that has ever been done over a 40-game stretch? Because that's what Derrick's doing. Aaron Donald's great, but what he's doing isn't the best over a 40-game stretch. Titans defense wasn't very good yesterday, but they did get the one stop they needed to on the 4th and short. And you would say, hey, what about that, Jared? Why should I be surprised that the Titans defense held tough on a goal line situation? Remember the Patriots playoff game 2 years ago? 2 stops at the goal line. Remember the Ravens, the team with the highest ever 3rd and 4th and short conversion rates in the history of the NFL? 2 4th and shorts. They didn't get it. Titans scored 2 touchdowns on the following drives. Remember Tannehill's first start against the Chargers? Ken Wisenhunt got fired because they couldn't punch it in from the 1-yard line. This is nothing new about the Titans and their goal line defense. They even had a humongous goal line stop last week against Jacksonville. Tannehill was so-so. A.J. Brown was the best receiver. Julio Jones looks hurt. None of this surprises me. What happened yesterday? Defense looked kind of lousy in pass coverage. That doesn't really surprise me either. The thing that's crazy is everybody around the country watched yesterday, and everybody, I think, was surprised, just stunned that the Titans won yesterday. I'm not. And I'm not surprised with how they did it. The other issue here, too, is trying to be able to, in my own idea, fairly dole out credit for yesterday's game. And I'm not a big believer in, hey, you owe this person credit or you owe that person credit. I am not a credit card company. I am not Capital One. I am not Wells Fargo. I am not American Express. But I think what's interesting is a lot of people are going to put their hands up and say, hey, we got to give this guy credit because he did this, and we got to give that guy credit because he did it. We got to give. Derrick Henry won you the game yesterday. Derrick Henry. Because he's the best player right now in the NFL. If there was any big takeaway that I had from yesterday's game, it's that Derrick Henry, as of right now, is the most valuable player in the National Football League. To me, there's two choices. There's Derrick Henry and there's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's defense lost his entire defense. He has no running backs. They keep letting guys go. What big free agent signings are the Ravens bringing in? They lost Matthew Judon. They're using practice squad guys in the backfield. Earl Thomas a year ago. And Lamar Jackson has his team at 5-1. And Lamar Jackson's awesome. The other option's Derrick. The Titans' defense is a mess. The Titans' offensive line is a mess. The Titans' wide receiving core, I don't know if you saw who was out there in a lot of key spots yesterday, is a mess. The Titans' special teams is a mess. Sometimes I think the coaching is a mess. And yet, Derrick Henry last night would not let them lose the game. Ryan Tannehill and Mike Vrabel even said it today. Ryan Tannehill was not good through the first 3 quarters of the game. He had a great fourth quarter. But how much of that, too, was Buffalo's fear of Derrick Henry? Titans got the ball back with 8 minutes to go. I looked up at the scoreboard from my seats, and I saw, okay, touchdown wins it. 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Can Derrick Henry run for 8 minutes into the end zone? And I thought the Titans scored too quickly. But ultimately, they won that game because he put them on his back once again. And it doesn't matter who he's playing. It can be the Buffalo Bills. I think the best team in the NFL right now. And for a lot of people yesterday, they're not the best team, Jared. Check the power rankings going into the game. You all are probably the same people that said, well, when we beat them, they were number 1 in the country. Well, Buffalo was considered to be the best team in the NFL. And you beat them on Monday Night Football. The same group that lost to the Jets beat the Buffalo Bills. And again, it's because everybody around Derrick just did enough for everything else that Derrick did. I said this on my way out of the stadium, and I made sure that Buffalo fans could hear it because they were down and their faces were salty and I said, you know what's funny? All these Buffalo fans are leaving upset. They just can't believe they spent thousands of dollars to watch Derrick Henry beat their team. And in 20 years, they'll be able to tell their kids, I got to see Derrick Henry have a Derrick Henry game. What you are witnessing, what I am witnessing, what I hope everybody understands about what Derrick Henry is doing right now is that this is not natural. This is not good. This is not great. This is once-in-a-lifetime type stuff. 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was awesome yesterday, and everybody knows it. He's on pace to run for 2,000 yards again. He's the best player in the game. And again, I think the MVP race, right now, and it's early, but I think the MVP race right now is between Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, who played yesterday, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, all quarterbacks. To me, Lamar and Derrick. That's who I think should be the discussion because those guys are their teams right now. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer on the Titans because I think Derrick Henry's awesome, and guess what? He doesn't show any signs of slowing down. So we can say, hey, if it wasn't for Derrick Henry, well, guess what? You got Derrick Henry. Just like, well, if it wasn't for Tom Brady, the Patriots wouldn't have won 6 Super Bowls. Well, guess what? They had Brady, so they did win their 6 ones. I truly feel like the Titans are not a good football team outside of Derrick Henry. Now, you can debate that. You can disagree with it. You can have whatever opinion you want. They're 4-2 right now. They're the number 3 seed in the AFC, and they just beat the Buffalo Bills. But they do have Derrick Henry. That's how good Derrick Henry is. So if everybody wants to dole out credit today and say, well, you got to give Brabel credit for this, or you got to give so-and-so credit for that, or you got to, I'll tell you where I'm giving my credit to. Number 22. that's where it should go. He is the LeBron James of the Tennessee Titans. LeBron was in Cleveland, didn't like it, left. Cleveland was an unmitigated disaster. LeBron won his titles in Miami, decided, I need to go back to Cleveland. I need to win one as the alpha dog without a Dwayne Wade. I need to win one for my hometown. Let me go back to Cleveland, right back to the NBA Finals. I don't know how good the Titans are going to be this year. I don't know if the Titans are going to be good enough to compete for a Super Bowl. They have beaten Russell Wilson and Josh Allen, and normally that's a pretty big deal. Maybe they do win the Super Bowl. But I know this. It'll depend on how good everybody else can be just to give Derek enough. Can you get a Kyrie Irving that makes the game-winning shot? Can you get a Kevin Love that helped LeBron win that one championship he won in Cleveland? I don't know. Because Derek can't do it himself. Derek can't do it himself. Lamar can't do it himself. Josh Allen can't do it himself. Aaron can't do it himself. They all can't do it themselves. It's a team sport. But right now, you've got the best player and maybe the most impactful player in a team sport. And he is carrying you, both literally and figuratively. And so right now, the question has to be for the Titans, can everybody else just do enough to live up to Derek's level? You don't think the Buffalo Bills walked into that game and said, well, the one thing that's not going to happen this Monday night is Derrick Henry is not going to beat us. And the King did. He's on pace to be better than he was last year, better than he was 2 years ago. I don't think people understand how great that is, the greatness we're watching right now. It may be the greatest running back performance ever. And I've gone to most of these games. And last night, I said to my buddy who I was leaving the stadium with, who's been to almost all these games with me, went to the 238 against Jacksonville on the Thursday night with me, tons of Titans games over the years. And I turned to him, I said, do you think that we are taking kind of for granted that we've gotten to watch all of these Derrick Henry performances? So I think the Titans played a tough game. I thought as a team they fought hard. I think guys gave enough. I thought A.J. Brown played okay yesterday. Tannehill got it together in the fourth quarter. I don't think Brabel did anything that was incredibly egregious. I'm not sure he had a big decision to make here or there. I have no problem with the Buffalo coach going for it on fourth down, though I wouldn't have done it, which we'll get into. But to me, I just want us to just not lose sight that when you're the best, it doesn't matter how good the other guy is. It doesn't matter that they've got the third-ranked rushing defense. It doesn't matter that your offensive line is hurt. It doesn't matter that they may be the best team in the league. It doesn't matter if you're playing Reggie Miller and Clyde Drexler and Shaquille O'Neal and all the guys that Michael had to go through the years to win his title. It doesn't matter because you're the best. And so it doesn't matter if you're playing the New York Jets or if you're playing the Jacksonville Jags or if you're playing the Buffalo Bills. Derrick Henry's going to get his. Doesn't matter if you're taking on Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Derrick Henry's going to get his. It doesn't matter if you're taking on a 14-2 Baltimore Ravens team with an unbelievable home atmosphere and a playoff game versus the MVP. Derrick Henry got his. Derrick is the best. We are witnessing greatness. And I thought last night was a perfect example of it. And the difference is maybe for me and other people when I talk about not being surprised by last night, anybody surprised that we're walking out of this thinking Derrick Henry is the best? 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. Rocking and rolling today on Stillman and Company. And I will start with this question, which is, well, it's not even a question. I'm going to start off with this theory, statement, whatever. I think right now he's the MVP. I think Derrick Henry proved last night. And I'm not talking about will he get the votes to be the league MVP. I'm talking about the most valuable player to his football team. I think it's him or Lamar Jackson. I think those are the two. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025 on a Titans Monday on a Tuesday. Live from Bridgestone Arena. We'll get Caroline's reaction. We'll get to your phones. We got some game balls to give out. I don't know if anybody could tell from that first segment who I'm giving a game ball to. But we will get to that. 615-737-1025. TriStar Moving. They are the presenting sponsor of this show, and I absolutely love TriStar Moving because when I moved recently, I moved with my friends at TriStar. Like most people, I hated moving. But not anymore, thanks to my friends at TriStar Moving. They made the entire process so simple. There's a reason their motto is TriStar Movers with 5-star service. From the initial phone call to the final signature, moving became a breeze. They offer home protection where they cover your floors, banisters, railings, door jambs, and even the doors themselves. They're always upping the game when it comes to mover training. All of my furniture and everything else were taken care of perfectly, and that's why I love TriStar Moving. They have mattresses and protective bags, TVs and protective boxes, and they have a brand new state-of-the-art storage facility in Mount Juliet. Their owners, Garrett and Robert, are true Nashvillians, and they care about helping their community. So give my friends at TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit their website at nashvillemoving.org/radio, where they'll give you 5% off your entire move. That's TriStar Moving, 615-640-1219, nashvillemoving.org/radio. Tell them Jared Stillman sent you. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man, and they fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans, this team has a knack for rising to the occasion in big games.
On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Need a new roof? Get a roof built with integrity from E2 Roofing. E2 is a veteran-owned and operated local roofer with 95 5-star Google reviews and Better Business Bureau A+ rating. E2 Roofing is a veteran-owned and operated local roofer with 90 5-star Google reviews and Better Business Bureau A+ rating. E2 assists customers with roof repair and replacements through insurance claim assistance. Find out if insurance will pay for your new roof with a free inspection at e2roofingnashville.com.
Football is back, and Electronic Express has what you need to make the game bigger than ever. Bring the stadium to you with the best in-home entertainment from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Watching the game on the go? Save big on laptops, tablets, and headphones. Plus, we have all your appliance needs up to 50% off, and get up to 36 months free financing. We've got you covered this football season at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Mortgage rates are on the move. Don't miss the chance to lock in the best rate of your lifetime with my friends at Loan Pronto. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call Loan Pronto today and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this. You can get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees, no closing costs. Yes, they pay your closing costs, even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy. Virtually no paperwork required. And most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now and start the process. Don't wait on rates to spike again. If your current APR is over 2.75, call now for a free 30-second quote. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
There's Derrick Henry trying to get the big guy going, and he's going. And when I say going, he might go all the way. Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards. There are no flags.
Talk about how things opened up on that 76-yard touchdown run, and that kind of got the offense going.
Yeah, you see how big my eyes got? But no, man, they did a great job blocking, and I just seen the hole and hit it, got north and south, and got a TD.
I don't know if you realize it or not, but your miles per hour, you were 21.8. That's the fastest by any ball carrier this year. What is it about you in the open field? Like,
Still too slow.
Where does your speed come from?
I'm from Florida, so Florida boys, it's in the water, so if you're from Florida, you got to have speed.
That was Derrick Henry yesterday. Again, to the house, 76 yards. It's crazy because those things don't even surprise us anymore. By the way, 102.5 The Game Spreads Game Day broadcast brought to you by Hermitage, the Design Center, the professional source for lighting, hardware, appliance, custom kitchens, and baths on the web at on the web at gohermitage.com. So, game ball. Surprise, surprise, Derrick Henry.
What?
Derrick Henry gets a game ball for
That
yesterday.
one got pulled out of nowhere.
And I don't have any interest in anybody telling me anybody else on offense.
Well,
there is not an argument for another player on that offense to get a game ball if their name is not Derrick Henry.
I tweeted that last night. I said, give Derrick Henry the game ball. Give him every single game ball. And I had someone say, well, Ryan Tannehill had a really good game too. Ryan Tannehill had a fine game.
An average, below average first 3 quarters. Like, you're blown out of the game if it's not for Derrick Henry in the first half. And I think that's my whole thing about this idea that Derrick isn't the whole team. Derrick is the whole team right now. I'm sorry. Think about all the people who matter on the Titans. Julio Jones is hurt, and he's still clearly hurt. I mean, I watched him on one play in the fourth quarter run out on the field and then have to stop and, like, stretch himself out. And, like, he was gimpy running on the field, not just off the field. A.J. Brown's on a pitch count. Tannehill, as far as decision-making has been concerned this season, and inconsistent throws, missing guys. I mean, Tannehill has been
a dumb interception last night.
Tannehill's been average. I mean, and I love Tannehill, but this has not been a great season for Tannehill. Robinson, and I love him, can't draft right now. And there are no players that they've drafted recently that are out there on the field helping him, except for Fulton, and he's hurt. And Brabel, I mean, the defense can't even get lined up right. This is a blowout. It is a blowout last night in the first half, if it's not for Derrick Henry. He's carrying the entire team. To me, there's not an argument for a second guy for a game ball.
Well, I think you have to give credit where credit is due to Jeffrey Simmons and Harold Landry.
Well, that's defensive game ball.
Okay, thank you.
So offensive game ball goes to Henry.
Fair.
Defensive game ball, David Long Jr. And this is like the third game ball we've given him this year, too. I mean, he is a bad boy. And this is why he was Big 12 Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, because he may not be big, but he will go get to the football. I thought about giving it to him. I thought about Simmons made a nice play there. I mean, Josh Allen fell down. But hey, you want to risk it on fourth down? You're risking it on fourth down. You're risking it, not me. So I'm going to give it to David Long Jr. I thought he was great. Randy Bullock, the kicker, gets it on the special teams front because special
Who
teams.
else gets it?
Give it to. And if it wasn't for a hold called on Randy Bullock, the Titans probably lose because Craig Aukerman, once again, can't get a special teams unit to do anything right. I mean, it's embarrassing watching the Titans play special teams. I mean, and it kills me because Brabel was a special teams guy. Like, he was a special teams player early in his career in Pittsburgh, and it's a mess. But
it's also very interesting that Mike Vrabel is a defensive guy, and we're not very high on the defensive coordinator at the moment either.
Well, I'm just telling you right now, look at the Titans. Look at the Titans. They're 4-2. They're the 3rd seed in the AFC right now. They just beat the best team in the league. Defense isn't very good. Drafting hasn't been very good. Quarterback play this season has been below average. Your star receivers have been hurt. Your offensive line has been a mess. You're 4-2 because you got him. Like, he's great. He's awesome. They asked Steve Kerr one time about what makes you guys better than other dynasties? And Steve Kerr goes, the difference between us and other dynasties is, and he stops and just goes, we have Michael. Like, that's what Derrick Henry is that. There has never been somebody who is as good as Derrick Henry right now at running the football. Your reaction to last night's game?
I mean, after every single game, I write down what was good, what was bad. And the first thing I thought was, okay, well, obviously Derrick Henry good, but what else? And then I thought, no, that's not really fair of me to say, okay, yeah, obviously Derrick Henry was good, ran for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Obviously that was good because we expect that from Derrick Henry every week. But I had to stop myself and look back and say, I cannot take Derrick Henry and what he is doing for granted.
They're not.
Because I have to give credit to Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons. Harold Landry looked like a bad man out there, and Jeffrey Simmons got the stuff that this team needed when they needed it. 3 sacks on Josh Allen last night. I have to give them credit. But the defense wasn't all that extraordinary last night. They made the stops where they needed to make them, but Josh Allen still threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I don't think they made the stops where they needed to make them.
Well, 4th and goal, they made the stop where they needed to make
They made enough stops last night that Derrick could win them the game.
Kept them in the game.
Which was the difference than the Jets game. Like, that and A.J. Brown was the difference in the Jets game. There were so many times where Derrick and the offense seized momentum back onto the Titans side. And I'm like, They got to go get a shutdown stop here. You've got the offense, the momentum on offense. You bust a 76-yarder. You take it to the house for a touchdown. Game's back in your favor. Okay. Give me a 3-and-out. Give me the ball. I know you're not going to give me a 3-and-out every time. I know you're not going to give me a stop every time. I know they're going to score touchdowns. They're number one offense in the league. Get me a stop. And when you get me a stop, I've got the momentum. Now Derek can get back to work, get that defense back on the field. Momentum is very real. Don't let any stat guru, analytic nerd tell you that it's not. It's very real. And I felt like yesterday there were like 3 or 4 times where the Titans had seized the momentum in the game. And Josh Allen just moved right downfield, scored a touchdown. And I don't know if you can live like that consistently. The defense was what the defense was.
The secondary was not good.
See, I can't even get mad at the secondary. The secondary is what they are at this point. Like, they're all practice squad guys, and Byard and Jackrabbit Jenkins. Like, at one point, they had to run Dane Cruikshank into the game as, like, an extra DB because they were out of corners. So I'm not – like, the secondary's bad. The defense is bad. They're going to be bad. The question is how bad and how bad's the secondary. What I get mad about with the defense is when Buffalo scores a touchdown or runs a 2-point conversion and the Titans aren't even lined up. That's what I don't like, because that's just competence. So, I mean, I'm not – again, you're talking about you got to give the defense credit. I'm not giving defense a lot of credit. I mean, they gave up 30-something points. Like, if we want to – the defense didn't give up 40 points. I'm not giving you credit for that.
Well, I'm not saying that the defense had a flawless game. I'm saying you have to give credit where credit is due in terms of things the defense was able to do last night. But they still gave up 350-something passing yards and 3 touchdowns to Josh Allen.
Yeah, like,
and
that's
you're going to do that
good.
when it's the number one offense in the country.
No, I see, but that's not good, though. Like, what if we say give credit, and this is what people want to do when a team wins, and this is why Derrick Henry is the MVP. People want to give credit to people that don't deserve credit. Like, when the team wins the World Series, everybody gets a hat, everybody gets a shirt, everybody gets champagne, everybody's dousing each other, and same with every other sport. Team wins it in basketball. And think about all these teams. Think about all these Laker teams with Kobe and Shaq. Do you think if Mark Madsen wasn't on the bench that the Lakers still would have won 3 titles with Kobe and Shaq?
Probably.
I think they would have won 3 titles with Kobe and Shaq. So what we do is we get into this sense where we say, got to give the defense, credit.
But it's not like the defense didn't do anything.
They gave up 30 points. They gave up 30 points. They got 1 big turnover, the Byard interception.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, and I'll give Byard credit, and I'll give David Long Jr. credit. Like, but the defense.
Forcing field goals early was key. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'm not giving the defense. That's your job. Like, dude, like, again,
against the number one offense in the country.
So what the expectation is now 40? So if they don't score 40 points, then it's good job defense? If the Titans had scored 45 points and the Bills had scored 44, would you be sitting here today saying, I give defense credit?
If they did things that deserve credit.
And I just don't think the defense deserves credit.
Okay, then you don't give the defense credit. I will, but you don't have to.
This defense sucks. This defense sucks. It sucked last night. They suck.
Okay.
Do they suck?
Overall, it's not great.
I just don't.
I'm not singing the praises of the defense, but I'm not saying it wasn't all bad. They sacked the quarterback 3 times last night.
I just don't want to get into the habit of analyzing the Titans and giving credit where it's not deserved. Like, that's the only thing I'm saying is to look at the team. Because I will tell you what happens is this is how you get lulled into this false sense of security is Derek wins you this game and everybody's like trying to soak up the glory. Everybody's trying to soak up the, hey, I'm pretty good. My team's 4-2. And it's like, dude, you were awful at quarterback for the first 3 quarters of that game. So next week when you play Kansas City, figure out how to be better in the first 3 quarters because if you're not, you're probably going to lose. Because Derek can't do this every week now. When you play the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs last year and Derek got you 60 yards on the ground, where was everybody else? Like, where was everybody else? And that's my whole point about this team is, I mean, I think the Titans have the potential because I think everybody has holes and I think everybody's driven by their stars. If the Dallas Cowboys don't have Dak, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are very good. If the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend don't have Patrick Mahomes, I don't think they're very good. But I think we need to fairly analyze the Titans, even in a big win, the same way we come down on them when they lose. So I think A.J. Brown yesterday being in there was a huge difference between this and the Jets game. Like, you didn't have A.J. in that Jets game. And you can tell A.J. is a much bigger factor than all the other wide receivers. Now, all the other guys kind of helped a little bit. They were here and there. But, I mean, if we're looking at this club and saying, okay, how can you beat the good teams? This is the example, but it's going to be him carrying it. And what I don't want us to do is start lavishing praise on other elements of the team that right now I think have a lot of work to do if you're going to be a championship caliber team. Because the thing about the Mike Vrabel special is that it's only temporary. The loss to the Jets is only temporary. The win against the Bills is only temporary. But you win a game like that, and you think to yourself, my goodness, you got the best player in the National Football League. How can your team be good enough to compete for a title when you've got the best player in the league? And in order to do that, you have to win 4 of these games. So you have to win 4 like last night. So I know this is going to sound crazy. I think this is a pretty popular show. Do I think that this show can all of a sudden, what I'm trying to do is to try to kind of control the narrative about everybody's great. Titans, a great team win. Titans.
I don't think anyone is thinking that.
I think the fans are a lot more measured about a win like this than they have been in the past, just because we've seen the Mike Vrabel special wins over the years. Like, we've seen them beat the Patriots and then get absolutely canned by the Colts the next
I think
week.
this fan base can be pretty humbled.
I look at Derrick Henry, and I think now that I know that he's the best player in the league, and now that I know you can beat some of the best quarterbacks, because that's what everybody will tell you is, hey, Derrick Henry's great, but you can't beat the best quarterbacks with the best running back. And it's like, well, you beat Russell Wilson already this year. You beat Josh Allen. You beat Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Now, you also lost to Lamar. You beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. Like, Derrick's beaten some good quarterbacks. Now, what do they have to do in order to make this consistent? If the defense held at the end there, gotten a 3-and-out, got the ball back to the Titans, Derrick Henry running the 4-minute offense, eat that clock, goodbye Buffalo, then I'd say, hey, defense. That was a huge stop when they absolutely, positively had to have it. I mean, Buffalo got the ball with like 4 minutes left, and before the 2-minute warning, they were at your 40. That's not great defense. Now, they did do some bending and not breaking, which if they could consistently do that like they did under Dean Pease that first year, then I think they've got something. But your point is valid. Like, your point is recognized. Like, it is.
Just because I am giving credit to the defense does not take any sort of credit away from Derrick Henry. The defense doesn't make that game-winning stop if Derrick Henry doesn't get them that many points. It just if Derrick Henry doesn't keep them in the game. But also, the Titans do not win that game if they cannot hold off Josh Allen at 4th and goal.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought the bigger play was the fact that they didn't let Allen get the first down. Now,
and I don't think that this team wins this game if Buffalo converts and doesn't kick a field goal in the first quarter.
See, those stops, like, if they could do that consistently, where they are good in the red zone, then, like, one of those balls Allen had, I think it was Beasley for a touchdown, and he just threw it behind him and threw it on the ground. I mean, that is not – I think the pressure still got to be on the Titans' defense. Like, I think we still got to keep the heat on Bowen. They're not getting lined up right. Like, I think the heat's got to be on the defense because you can't win. I just don't think you can win 4 games if the defense doesn't give you more. They got a turnover. That was good. I see your phones lined up. We're to them next. 615-737-1025. Reaction Monday is presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. It is a Titans Monday. Stillman & Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Tonight.
That was deposited high into the net by none other than Ellie Tolmanen.
The Nashville Predators homestand continues when they welcome Victor Arvidsson and the Kings to Nashville.
It's good to see everyone's fighting. Everyone wants to win.
Pre-game at 6, face-off at 7 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Fiero Tequila Habanero is for those who enjoy the flavor of spice, naturally infused with fresh, vine-ripened peppers from farmers in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Fiero Tequila Habanero is unapologetically the spiciest infused tequila available in the U.S. The hand-picked habaneros provide a delicious kick to the smooth Blanco tequila. It's a flavor punch that's perfect as a shot or a spicy way to spice up your hard seltzer, or perfect for a fiery cocktail. Available at fine liquor stores and your favorite drinking establishments. Fiero Tequila, the world belongs to the brave.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology. But we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value, for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social.
It's football season, and Social Furniture has the best lifetime guarantee motion furniture on sale now. Their sofas with recliners are push-button electric and wall-away with all colors to choose from for your comfort. Sectionals from $9.99, recliners from $3.99. Sectionals with Chase Lounge and all-electric recliners from $19.99. Social Furniture will have you football ready with all furniture that are plus leather, microfiber, and There's no waiting, and take home your new motion furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. Social Furniture has no down payments and no interest. You don't want to miss out on their best lifetime guarantee motion furniture sale going on now.
Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
Later today.
He's around third. Throw to the plate. And we're tied. Oh, my goodness. He caught it. He caught it.
It's a Major League Baseball playoff doubleheader. Game 3 of Braves-Dodgers, followed by Game 4 of Astros-Red Sox. Coverage begins at 3:30
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Max Kellerman, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Here's Allen. Hit as he throws, and it's intercepted. It's Kevin Byard. Byard down at the 11.
Well, we probably tackled better. I thought we did affect the quarterback at times. And again, on 3rd and long, we let him get out to the left. And, Danico didn't do anything other than have a good rush. And, Allen went deeper and further out to the right and completed a pass. Unfortunately, the coverage wasn't, there was a mistake in coverage, unfortunately. But, our guys understood the game plan. They battled. They kept it in front of them for the most part, made them earn it. We had turnover opportunities. We tipped the ball that was intercepted. We tipped another ball that we had a chance to intercept. They really understood the game plan and what we were trying to get done.
There you go, Mike Brabel. Give the defense credit, says Caroline Fenton, on the interception by Byard. I said individuals on defense.
Kevin Byard got an interception, but
Byard
deserves
credit.
no credit.
No, Byer deserves credit. Like we were talking about this during the break. I didn't say give the offense credit. I said give Derek credit. Defense, Byer.
Give Kevin Byer credit. Give Harold Landry credit.
David Long Jr.
Give David Long Jr. credit. Give Jeffrey Simmons credit.
I thought the best play on defense, and I know that it wasn't like the most transformational play in the game. You see Breon Borders go up there and high point that football and almost bring it down. Like he went and jumped up. I think it was with Diggs. But, I mean, he went up there and literally I thought would have been an incredible interception on a Josh Allen deep ball. And as he was coming down, the ball came out.
Jackrabbit almost broke it up on him, to be honest with you. Jackrabbit almost kind of made it.
Yeah, Jackrabbit does a lot of getting in the way.
Jackrabbit is so frustrating.
I told everybody when they signed him this is what it was going to be.
I wonder if he struggles in zone. You know, I wonder if he struggles in zone or if he's just a good man guy.
I mean, they were coming for him all night last night.
No, they were going at Chris Jackson all night last night. I noticed that last night was they gave him what I call the Tony Beckham treatment. So back in the day, the Titans used to have two good corners, Samari Rolle and Andre Dyson. And the Titans are playing a playoff game at New England, and Samari Rolle, I think, went out, or Dyson went out. I can't remember which one. And Brady literally went at Tony Beckham, the third corner, every single play. And that's what they did to Chris Jackson last night. And Chris Jackson has some good plays here and there, had some bad plays here and there, and then ended up getting hurt. But, I mean, they went at Jackson on every play. Jackrabbit just happens to be there a lot of the times that they go at him. And I thought there was one pass interference call in the end zone I thought was ridiculous that I didn't think was a lot of contact, and they threw the flag, and I thought that was just absurd. But I promised phones, so phones will go. 615-737-1025. Phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Daniel is going to kick us off today on a Reaction Monday powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, man, so last night after the game, before I went to bed, I was like, man, I got to call in and make the case for Derrick Henry as MVP. And what do you know, you're talking about it. So here's the thing, right? If they don't give Derrick Henry the MVP this year, they need to change the name and just give it to quarterbacks because he touches the ball as often, as much as most quarterbacks have completions. So when you talk about, quarterbacks affect the game more because they have the ball in their hands, Derrick Henry is equal on that level. Number two, he does not turn the ball over. Like, yeah, maybe some quarterbacks have more touchdowns, but you got to think how many interceptions are they throwing, costing, your team position and all that. And number three, you fear him at the end of the game. Just like all the great quarterbacks that they want to give MVPs. Oh, you don't want Tom Brady with the ball with 4 minutes left. Same thing with Derrick Henry. In the fourth quarter, you know he's coming and you can't stop him. Against the best offense, he had the ball. He scored a touchdown when he needed to at the end of the game to put us up. And Josh Allen could not do the same thing. To me, that I'm tired of let's just give it to a quarterback. No, Derrick Henry showed you. I'm so glad it was Monday night so that the rest of the world could see what we know.
I have this thought, though, Daniel, and I appreciate your call. And I think it should be a 2 or 3 person race. I think it should either be Lamar Jackson right now. And again, it's October. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Dak Prescott. And everybody will say, well, you have to give it to a quarterback, or they'll have that take, which is, just name it the quarterback award. And I get that, but I'll say this. And that is, who was the last running back who deserved the MVP award since Adrian Peterson won the award, I believe, in 2012? Like, is there a running back off the top of your head that deserved that award?
Like, you could make a case for maybe Christian McCaffrey.
That's
but
what I would think,
I don't
too.
think that would
Maybe
have very many legs.
Yeah, and they never give it to guys on teams who suck. So
Right.
that's, baseball's the only sport where they give the most valuable player to a guy on a team who's just absolute trash. I think basketball may have done that one time, and I can't stand that. So, I just don't think, to say that the running back can't win it. This is my definition of MVP. And it's a subjective award, so I have a subjective definition, which is when Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, they were perennially in the playoffs, they were in the Super Bowl multiple times, and they were almost always a contender. Peyton Manning left the Indianapolis Colts, they're the worst team in the league. That's the MVP. That's the most valuable player in the league. Dallas was terrible last year when they didn't have Dak Prescott. Dallas is pretty good right now. Dallas's coach is holding Dallas back. Zeke's chubby and can't run anymore. And yet, Dak Prescott has them at 5-1. That's pretty impressive to me.
You take Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore,
they're awful.
that team's got nothing.
They're awful. And so, that's my one thing is, Like, I do think Derek's the most valuable player in the NFL. I think Derek's the best player, like the best overall player in the National Football League. But I think you need to be fair with Lamar and Dak at the same time. And notice, too, how we, who watch one team on a week-in and week-out basis, aren't naming any other non-quarterbacks either. Like, we're not saying DeAndre Hopkins should be up there, or Chandler Jones should be up there at Arizona, or Myles Garrett should be up there in Cleveland.
All wonderful players. But if you take D-Hop out of Arizona, I mean, obviously they're gonna hurt without him. But I think that Arizona still is a good team without DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, I just don't watch enough of Arizona. Like, I don't watch enough of them to tell you who the best non-quarterbacks are in the league. Let's go to Steven, who's up next here on A Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Go ahead, Steven.
Hey, man, you got to stop being so negative after we win games and everything else. And
I just told you the best player in the NFL.
I know he is, but it seems like you're always so negative and harsh on the team, and I get it. Like, they look sloppy a lot, but so does every other team. You said the Bills had the best probably roster, one of the best GMs, and we beat that team with our GM and our roster that you don't like.
No, Steven. Your GM did not beat the Buffalo Bills. Your running back
drafted those players,
beat the
though,
Buffalo
didn't he?
Bills. He tried to trade him.
Derrick Henry. He tried to
trade him. He tried to trade him, Steven.
Okay,
you want to play that he
right.
drafted him, I'll play that he tried to trade him. That's the thing. Your call is exactly what I'm talking about. Thank you for the call, Steven. This call is exactly what I'm talking about. And it is Jared's is so negative after the Titans win a game, and right? I just told you you're the best player in the league. The best player. And all these people are going to tell you over the next couple of days, and I already know because Stephen A. Smith said it today, you can't win the Super Bowl with a running back as your lead player. I don't know that. And you know why I don't know that? Because in my lifetime of watching football, which dates back to like 1997, there has never been a running back this good. Adrian Peterson at his peak was not this good. Terrell Davis at his peak was not this good.
Who was the NFL MVP?
Marshall Faulk at his peak was not this good. I mean, you can go whoever over the last 30 years, 25 years, nobody has been as good as him. So, I mean, you can say that, hey, running backs can't win. Those running backs can't. Like all the good running backs, Sean Alexander, LaDainian Tomlinson, and they're great running backs, great Hall of Fame guys, but they're not as good as this right now. Like, I think this could win you a Super Bowl. I really do. Now, can the defense get their level of play up to where they, can get you some just big stops when you really need it? Like that pressure of the quarterback, can it be a little bit more consistent? Mm-hmm. Can they cover just a little bit more? Like that's what you're going to have. But to act like, Jared didn't kiss everybody's bum after the game was over because they beat the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so I didn't go on the air on Reaction Monday after they lost to the Jets and said that you had a worse coach than the Jets or you had a worse quarterback than the Jets or I didn't say any of that. So, I mean, I think Brandon Beane in Buffalo, I know they lost yesterday. I think he's the best general manager in the NFL. I do. I still think that. Your general manager can't even draft players that can help your team win. How can you sit there, well, our GM beat your GM? Okay.
Well, they weren't on the field.
Your GM lost to the Jets. Like, I'm sorry.
And your first round pick that your GM picked left the game with an ACL
The
tear.
injured player that you picked that everybody else in the league said was injured has gotten injured again. And, I feel bad for the kid, but
I do feel bad for him. And
it's Titans. I mean, we said when they drafted him, hey, you're drafting an injured guy. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's injured, and so, sorry. That's not surprising. Got 2 first-round picks the last 2 years. He's lit on fire like currency. Unbelievable. But so that's my point, though, about the caller is it's like everybody's like, oh, you got to give all these other people credit. Derek. Now, back to that point. Like I said, and this will be a topic probably later in the week, I do think there's a chance you can win a Super Bowl with Derrick Henry doing what he's doing. Because I've never seen it. You've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been anybody that's done it like this at this level. Like the yards, the stats, the taking over games, it's unbelievable. Back to your phones next. 615-737-1025. Listen to the MLB postseason on ESPN 1025 The Game and 94.9. Brought to you by 312 Pizza Company. Tonight on 94.9. Today, Game 3 of the NLCS as the Braves take on the Dodgers, followed by Game 4 of the ALCS, the Astros and the Red Sox. Coverage begins at 3:30. 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is home to the best pizza in Nashville and uses all natural ingredients, and everything is made in-house from scratch. Head to 312 Pizza Company to grab a bite, a beer, and watch some October baseball. Stillman and Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Your home of the Nashville Predators.
And Rene takes a long elevated shot, bouncing, and he scores!
ESPN 1025 The Game.
Saturday means college football, and Dos Equis Lager is perfect for celebrating your team's win over that rival school, whose name we will not mention. Dos Equis is a golden Pilsner-style beer that's perfect for enjoying with friends on game day. Grab a case for your next tailgate party, game day get-together, or alone time after a devastating loss. Dos Equis, a proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Recorded by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Middle Tennessee, you can count on an award-winning service team for all your home maintenance and improvement needs. Lee Company, we're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and trusted by thousands of homeowners in our community. Our team is ready to assist with all your home maintenance projects, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, appliance service, and more. Experience the convenience of calling one phone number for all your home maintenance needs. Call Lee Company today at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use only. Down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Robbie Stanley.
That size and that speed just doesn't grow on trees. That could be something that you could really turn into.
Joe Rexrode.
Just hold out and somebody will call in the bad signal.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You're listening to Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
That allows you guys to kind of meet the moment against good teams in situations like this.
Belief in each other. Belief that we're going to go out and execute and find a way to win. We, like I said, didn't execute perfectly at times, and we're a little bit frustrated by that, but the belief in each other never faded. The belief that we're going to get it going, that we're going to take advantage of the opportunity and build off of each side of the ball, right? KB gets a pick. We're able to go answer with the score. That momentum just kept building, and then game gets tight in the fourth quarter. That belief that we're going to go down and score and take the lead never wavered.
Now, if they can just believe in each other against the Jets, they can just believe in each other against the Jags.
See, that week they did not believe in each other.
Apparently
that was an off week.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
See,
that was a no belief day.
That's why all the cliche stuff. Like, maybe I'm like an old crotchety young man, but like I can just not. I can't deal with that.
I just think I've heard enough coach talk in my day to just get so annoyed by it.
Well,
Ryan, tell us the real story. Yeah. You believed in each other.
It's believe in our
which is good. You should believe in each other. That's always nice. Jared, I believe in you.
Here's the crazy thing. And I don't know what's going to happen against Kansas City next week. You lose to the Colts in 2 weeks, everything you did yesterday doesn't matter. But I do think the one thing about the win yesterday, well, I'll get to that in a second. I promised phones. So phones we go. Adam is up next. Thank you for calling the show on a Reaction Monday powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus. Go ahead, Adam.
A couple of things. You seem to be kind of binary in your analysis. Either they're all good or they're all bad, except for MVP Derrick Henry. What we're forgetting is a couple things. But you did give notice of that early on. We're basically playing our entire team's a mash unit right now. The secondary has, as you say, practice squad players on it. And last time I checked, Derrick doesn't play defense. So to hold the Bills, and you say, well, they scored 31 points. Yeah, well, what have they scored on every other team in the league? And they haven't played all trash teams. I think that you got to look a little deeper.
They played the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs are so good. What are the Chiefs
Don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to take a naysayer attitude, and I'm not saying that it's all sunshine and roses, and I'm not saying that the Titans, they just need to go ahead and give us the Lombardi Trophy because we're entitled to it. But having said that, to show the resiliency to be able to do what they did that night on the big stage and not get blown out was really nice to see. Okay? I'm not ready to have a parade, but give credit where credit's due, not over credit, not pumping up, not making them on a pedestal where they don't have to still work. Call the ugly plays, but don't be so down on them. Say, all right, you got a lot of work to do, but I like this, 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 and this. That is a measured way to talk about.
I would agree, Adam. Adam, I would agree, and I appreciate your call. And I think Kevin Byard's interception was big, and the Titans scored a touchdown off of that. And as I said, I think Byard deserves credit for that. I think David Long Jr. tackled his rear end off, and I think he deserves credit for that. And I think the reason they didn't get blown out last night was because Derrick Henry busted a 76-yard touchdown run early in the game. If there was anything that I was surprised by, and I started the show saying that we've seen all these things before from the Titans, if there was anything I was surprised by, it was that it happened early and not late, the big Derrick Henry run. But, I mean, Buffalo was starting to really put they were getting ready to start smelling blood in the water.
It was uncomfortable.
And Derrick busted a 76-yarder. That's my thing. That's just so not natural. That's not how other teams win. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. And then people get mad because I'm talking about Derrick won. And then they get mad and then they...
Well, it's one thing that you can give the credit that Derrick Henry deserves. And to be totally honest, I don't know if anyone can fully give credit that Derrick Henry deserves.
I'm trying pretty hard over here.
I know, but I think sometimes that we take Derrick Henry for granted. I did earlier when I was thinking about my good and my bad about this game. I thought, okay, well, Derrick Henry, obviously. No, not Derrick Henry, obviously. Give him the credit that he deserves. But Derrick Henry was not the only person on that field last night. And the reason why the Titans won was because of Derrick Henry. But the defense kept them in that game. A Kevin Byard interception kept them in that game. The Harold Landry and Jeffrey Simmons sacks kept them in that game.
Reaction Monday is powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus. Sparkling water with a spark. Check them out at drinkfocus.com. We're back to your phones next. It's a Reaction Monday. It's Titans Monday. It's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Creating the finest award-winning tequila means starting with the best ingredients. Camarena Tequila is 250 years in the making from Arandas, Jalisco, Mexico. You see, at Camarena, they wait for their 100% blue Weber agave to reach maturity before harvesting each and every plant by hand. This allows them to consistently produce one of the smoothest and best-tasting tequilas in the world. Experience Camarena Tequila today. Available at a fine liquor store near you. Camarena Tequila is the official tequila for the Nashville Soccer Club.
Whoa, the NBA is back, folks. FanDuel is tipping things off by hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay bet. Joe Rex over here to let you know. Place your first same-game parlay bet of the NBA season, and if you don't win, you get a refund in site credit. Combine multiple bets from the same game into one wager. For bigger paydays. You build your parlay with spreads, the money line. You can go over, under, points, all kinds of individual player props. Just a lot of ways you can go. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code Joe102. You also get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 back. Look, in the NBA this year is going to be a fascinating league. I think it's wide open. I don't necessarily believe the Bucks are going to repeat. I think the Warriors might be interesting. It's going to be fascinating. Just make the most out of the season. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook. Bet the NBA risk-free. Use promo code Joe102 so they know I sent you. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as an withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Offer ends on October 21st. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Your home value is way up this year, and with mortgage rates back to all-time lows, it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. Refinance now and get cash out of your home's equity. Hey, it's Willie Donick. Loan Pronto can refinance your loan at a super low rate. They can pay the closing costs for you and get you a bunch of cash out. How does $40,000 or $50,000 sound? Don't just sit on that home's new value. Use it. Use it to pay off credit cards. Use it to consolidate other debt. Get rid of PMI. Use IT to make your home even more valuable with that home improvement project you've been dreaming about. Loan Pronto's all-digital platform makes it fast and easy. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Ask about the Loan Pronto zero-cost cash-out refi. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Zero cost option not available on all loans.
Treating erectile dysfunction with acoustic wave therapy has been getting a lot of attention lately. But you should know that some are promising results we just haven't seen and charging a lot of money for the treatments as well. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're looking at acoustic wave therapy or any option to help your ED, you really should call us first. Unlike wave therapy-only clinics, the Tennessee Men's Clinic wave therapy protocols do use acoustic wave technology, but we also often combine it with other treatments that can give most of our patients far higher satisfaction rates. There is no surgery nor any type of invasive procedure required. And even better, depending on your treatment strategy and with our urologist and provider's guidance, you can likely have sex the day after your appointment. We even have other treatments that can help you last up to an hour. Plus, for a limited time, we're waiving our normal appointment charge, which includes a PSA and T test, and offering a free ultrasound, altogether nearly a $400 value for free. So make an appointment today. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects, treatments, extra results vary.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pedro, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving on ESPN 102.5 The Game, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry. It is a Reaction Monday on a Tuesday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, sparkling water with a spark. And we are live at Bridgestone Arena, Preds and Kings tonight. 102.5 The Game's Game Day broadcast brought to you by Hermitage, the Design Center, the professional source for lighting, hardware, and appliance and custom kitchens and baths on the web at gohermitage.com. I did promise phones, and we'll get to those in one second. I do want to say this. While I have spent the first hour just bloviating about how great Derrick Henry is, and I still don't think that that is doing Derrick Henry justice, I will say this. The offense hung 34 points on the number one scoring defense in the NFL. And I think you got to give A.J. Brown his due because I thought he played really well in the fourth quarter, exactly what they needed. He got open, caught the ball. Fourth quarter, Tannehill, I think you got to give credit to, didn't miss on a pass. Now, the first 3 quarters, I was like, Ryan, what's going on here? I thought the lesser-known guys. Westbrook-Akina had a big catch. Swaim, who is completely worthless and has no business being on the roster in the NFL, caught a ball that was thrown to him. But I'm going to tell you who I was really impressed by on offense. Anybody notice what the Titans did on third down situations? Clearly, McNichols was hurt yesterday, right? So what the Titans did on third down situations, they didn't leave Derrick Henry in to pass protect. They would bring Kari Blasingame into the game to be an extra pass protector, which is crazy because he's not much of a receiver. And even though he played running back in college at Vandy, he's not much of a runner. They don't really hand the ball to him. But I thought Blasingame was excellent in pass protection and gave Tannehill some clean pockets. So I do want to say that, and I think Downing, I think that he called a good game last night. So more credit outside of Derrick Henry.
There you go.
Let's go to your phones as promised. Sean has been waiting patiently. Thank you for calling on a Reaction Monday. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, how y'all doing? First of all, I want to say found the show by accident, and my radio station hasn't changed. Real quick, I totally agree with you that at this point right now, Derrick Henry's MVP, hands down. What I want to know your opinion about is Derrick Henry has won 2 consecutive rushing titles. I believe he's in the lead this year. It's only been one other guy. I think Emmitt Smith has the most rushing titles in a career, which is 4, I believe. When do we start putting Derrick Henry in the case of one of the greatest, if not the greatest?
After he does that this year. Thank you for your call, Sean. I mean, I think that's the – like, it's weird, right? Because you want to talk about, like, okay, is he one of the greatest? Is he one of the best all time? Is he one of the – because, you know, he's on pace this year to run for 2,000 again. And if he runs for 2,000 again, then that changes the story.
And there's always going to be those people that say, well, Derrick Henry can't contribute in the passing game like a Marshall Faulk could have back in his day. That'll always be the naysayer conversation about Derrick Henry.
But I'm not sure in like 20 years from now anybody will care about that.
But once he gets, or if he gets 2,000 yards back-to-back seasons, then I think that kind of stops any sort of naysayer conversation. He did something that no other running back in history has ever done before. And then you're going to have the people who say, well, what about that 17th game? He was able to do it in 17 games.
I'd like just to say something, though, while I have the floor,
Yes,
if I
please.
may.
Yes, of course. You hardly ever get the floor.
While I have the floor, I'd like to say something. You know what's funny is Derrick Henry was drafted in the 2nd round by the Titans. And I remember I was actually here at Bridgestone Arena when they picked him. And I remember texting Floyd, and we weren't partners at the time, but we were on the same station together. I'm like, why would they have DeMarco Murray? Why would they do this? And he was like, well, you know, the best way to get better is playing defense, run the ball. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So they draft Derrick Henry. So then early in that rookie season, and he got a little play here and there, and he was just killing it in the preseason. And Corey Curtis told me that they had him on the coaches show on News 2. And when they had him on the coaches show on News 2, like the ratings spiked. And I heard that, and I said, you know what? We have got to start talking Derrick Henry a lot. So even though Derrick wasn't playing much, I was like, we've got to start talking it. And so we talked, you know, is this enough targets for DeMarco? And is Derrick getting the ball enough? And we talked it every day for 2 years. Then Derrick Henry leaves. Excuse me, DeMarco Murray leaves and retires. Derrick had 155 yards in a playoff win at Kansas City. Then he leaves. DeMarco does. And I'm like, it's Derrick's time. Let the big dog eat. Give him the ball. Let's see what he can do. And Derrick struggled in that 2018 season. Now, if Jerome Boger's crew, and we know how bad they are, if they don't take a holding call away from that first game in Miami, Derrick breaks one that probably wins the game, and maybe that changes the whole season. But I would just like to say, and Ian, back me up on this. You know where I'm going, don't you?
I think so.
That in 2018, that his own coaches gave up on him because they were giving Dion Lewis the ball more than they were giving Derrick Henry. They made David Fluellen the second-string running back, Derrick the third, before Fluellen blew out his knee in a game against New England.
Which I don't want to be mean, but Fluellen kind of sounds like a nasal congestion medicine.
Yeah, I like Fluellen. I thought he was fine because you never say
flu season.
Flu
yes,
season. That is right. I forgot about that. His general manager reportedly, keyword, gave up on him because Chris Mortensen reported in 2018 that they tried to trade Derrick Henry at the deadline. The GM, Floyd Reese, was kind of out on Derrick, remember? We can't do -2 to get started. We can't do. Everybody's giving up on Derrick. Not this guy. Not yours truly. The one that you all get mad at and say is Mr. Negative. Remember all the time I kept saying, let the big dog eat. Give him the ball. Let the big dog eat. Well, Derrick lost 2 yards. I don't care. Give it to him again. Just give him the ball. Now, Joe Rexrode and other revisionist historians will tell you that, well, Derrick had a talk with Eddie George, and that's what set Derrick straight. But see, that's not really true. I mean, yeah, he had the talk with Eddie George, but they say that because Derrick said that talking to Eddie was what allowed him to kind of understand it. They're like, oh, well, he talked to Eddie, and then he ran for 238 against the Jags, so there you go. Do you think Derrick's going to say, yeah, I think LaFleur is an idiot for giving the ball to Dion Lewis over me. No. Does he think it? I bet he probably does. So there was one person in Nashville who never gave up on giving Derrick Henry the ball. And unlike all those Alabama fans that have moved here in the last 10 years that probably felt the same way I did, they don't have radio shows. So I'm the one guy who was constantly yelling, let the big dog eat, let him do it, and then he did it. And then Floyd said, I want to see it again. Then he did it the next week, 170 against the Giants. Then he said, I want to see it for more than 4 games. Then he did it, won the rushing title, then everybody was on Derrick. Just remember that, everybody. Okay,
thank you for that.
Floor is no longer mine.
Thank you for that.
Ike is up next here on Stillman and Company. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Ike.
What's going on? All right, I've been listening to you, and I got to say, sometimes you spin a lot of stuff, and I like you, but I think you're missing the point. Derrick is who he is. We've known that for the last 3 years. Last night, you got to understand, you got to admit it, too, that it was a team. He didn't win it himself. Of course, he made some great runs, but you had to have some holes. You have a depleted secondary, and the defense did come up pretty big a couple of times. Although they did give up 31, but they won the game.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm going to ask you this question. Is there any team sport where you can't say that the team won it and an individual won it?
Well, the NFL is not one guy; it's a team game.
Okay,
so,
but if this were the 1990s and this were Chicago sports talk radio, would you be calling in telling me to give Rodman and Luke Longley and Steve Kerr credit, or would we be talking about the 48 Michael drop last night?
Well, I would call in and also say you need to give the fans a shout out too, because the fans come up big because the Buffalo had they had 40,000 fans there. I think you got to give that.
Buffalo had a lot of fans.
Yeah, they did.
I'm going to say this about the Titans. Ike, and I appreciate a call. I'm going to say this about the Titans. I think a lot of Titan fans, and remember, I'm a day one guy. Like, the first playoff game I ever went to was the Music City Miracle. Kevin Dyson ran into the end zone where we were sitting in, the section. My dad was like, this will never happen again. This will never happen again. And he's right. But, like, those days, it was packed to the brim. Titan fans here, Titan fans there. Like, you couldn't get a ticket. It was the hottest ticket in town. It was all Titans fans. It was great. There's a lot of Titan fans that don't like the Buffalo fans packing the stadium. Like, they don't like it. It's like, our fans, that sell their tickets, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm going to say this. The Packers brought a lot of fans. They lost. The Broncos brought a lot of fans. They lost. The Patriots brought a lot of fans. They lost. The Eagles brought a lot of fans. They lost. The Chiefs brought a lot of fans. They lost. The Bills brought a lot of fans. They lost. The problem is, apparently, when teams that don't have any fans, like the Houston Texans or the Arizona Cardinals show up, Titans can't ever win. I mean, I'm scared to death. They play after New Year's against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to be so bad, they're not going to have any fans there. They may lose. I mean, how many games like this do we have to see before we realize these mixed crowds, these neutral site games played in Nashville are actually to the benefit of the Tennessee Titans? And I don't understand it. I don't know.
But so much of that energy in the stadium last night came from Bills fans as well.
Sure.
And I'm sure they could feel it on the field. I think it's also a testament to Nashville because, like, Bills fans aren't going to Indianapolis.
Of course it's the thing about Nashville. I mean, if you want to take pride in how great your city is, look how many people we had for the draft. Our city's the best. Well, guess what? When people have a chance to go to your city, then they're going to go.
They're going to go because it's fun, yeah.
But I keep wondering this, which is every time there's a game like this, these fans leave unhappy. I saw all those Bill fans and all their tears. And I saw them on the bridge last night walking back over because I parked my car on this side of the pregame show. And I saw those Bills fans. And I remember the Bronco fans on the bridge. And I remember the Packer fans. And I remember Mike Mularkey asked about, how nice was it to send those Packer fans home unhappy? And he's like, hey, I want to talk about our fans that came out today and supported us. And I was like, way to go, Mike. Great way to answer that question. Now they don't even ask. They don't even ask. I mean, I didn't listen to the full press conference, but they don't even ask, hey, how's it feel to send those Bills fans home? Because they've done it 15 times to the best teams. They did it to the Chiefs. They did it to the Patriots. They did it to the Eagles. They did it to the defending champion Eagles. They did it to the eventual champion Patriots. They did it to the eventual champion Chiefs. They did it to the defending champion Broncos. Like, these are the best teams in the league that bring their fans into the stadium, and the Titans always win. So I get it. You're in section 316, and there's all fans of the other team around you, and they're high-fiving, and they're smacking each other's rear ends, and they're happy, and they're this and they're that. Guess what, dude? Let me ask you this question. Would you trade a win over the Bills to have a full stadium of your fans and lose? No.
Why would you do that?
No.
Why would you do that?
So for all the people that are going to get worked up about this, how can I give credit to the fans? Like the caller says, give credit to the fans. How can I give credit to the fans when half the stadium is the other team's fans?
Well, it was an electric environment. You have to say that's probably a testament to Bills fans as well, because there were more Bills fans than Titans fans in that stadium last night, which doesn't take anything away from what they did. It doesn't take anything away from the game.
So it's like, thank you, Bill fans, for not making the environment sleepy.
Yeah, sure. We can call it that. We can call it that. I mean, the stadium was so fun last night.
I tweeted this out yesterday after the game.
It was
and
so
I've been going
fun.
to games for, since the beginning. And that was recently one of the more fun games I've had.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. I saw my guys from Invigorate Health. They made it a little bit more fun.
Mm-hmm.
All my
health drinks.
Oh yes, health drinks.
Yeah, green smoothies.
But I'm like sitting there, and the atmosphere was electric, and the high fiving and the Buffalo fans.
Oh, and the Bills fans are rowdy. I got shouted at some things that I don't want to say on the radio. But
I want to say that, like, the Bill fan. I thought the Bills fans were fine. Like, I didn't think they were too over the top. I didn't think it was like the Eagles a couple years ago. I mean, the Eagle fans were
like ruthless.
Oh man, I mean, there were fights.
Bills fans were just fun.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe, but I mean, I'm just saying that about the crowd. And I'm sure we'll talk about this about, the next time the Titans host a team that's pretty good, that's got a big fan base, that travels for the game, when they play the Chiefs next Sunday. But hey, you keep winning. So, like, if you keep winning, say, guys, screw the Carolina Panthers, bring the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they're going to bring all the fans. Don't bring Carolina. Don't bring Atlanta. Don't bring the Raiders. Bring the Cowboys. Bring the Patriots. Bring the Packers. Bring the Broncos.
The Eagles.
Bring those teams. Texans stay home. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. Reaction Monday, powered by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus Sparkling Water with a spark. Check them out at drinkfocus.com. Coming up next here on Stillman and Company. The defense is driving me crazy still. But there is an element of the defense that I think maybe I'm willing to accept. We'll get to that next. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man, and they fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans. They made some big-time plays. They were great in the red zone.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Panera believes in saying yes to things like the new grilled mac and cheese sandwich featuring mac topped with Parmesan crisps. Get $1 delivery when you order on the app. Panera, live your yes. Restrictions apply.
Are you tired of living with chronic pain, knee pain, joint pain? Listen carefully, because now there are new treatments available here. Not talking surgery or steroids. These are regenerative treatments from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Willie Donick here. QC Kinetics is the leader in these exciting biologic therapies that help restore and repair damaged tissue in your joints with lasting results. So if you've got pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back, joint pain that won't go away, you need to check out these new treatments with astonishing patient satisfaction reports. They can actually help your body restore and repair itself with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. So call now to schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. Tired of dealing with joint pain and want to get moving again? You need to learn more about how biologic therapies are changing the way we think about dealing with joint pain. It's exciting stuff, so don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the Certified Pre-Owned Limited Warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
1025 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets all month long. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 1025 The Game on social media and tag the game and use hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified. All brought to you by Social Furniture. Shop local. Shop social.
Ever shop for a diamond only to have the jeweler tell you he doesn't have what you're looking for in stock, but he can get one brought in for you in a few days?
They hear it again and again. Oh, I don't have it. I can get it for you. Give me few days, see what I have for you. Let me call my dealer.
That's Genesis Diamonds owner Boaz Ramon, who says when you hear that, you're in the wrong place.
When you go to other places and they don't have it in stock, that means this is not their specialty. Why do you want to go to a restaurant and wait for them to order the food from somebody else?
But at Genesis, they do specialize in diamonds, and they have them. Thousands, all shapes, all sizes, all in stock every day.
We're ready for you. You want to come and get a 3-carat, 4-carat, 1-carat? We have them in stock because we sell them.
Genesis Diamonds.
We have one of the largest selection in the country.
Where diamonds are not a side business. It is their business.
That's what we think, breathe, and sleep.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
I'm Boaz Ramon, and my accent is always on value.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curacion CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curacion CBD. Curacion means healing, and that right there says it all. Curacion is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curacion is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at CuracionCompany.com. Curacion CBD, curated for life.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite platform.
What has his impact been throughout the course of the season, and has he taken his game to another level in the last
Well, I think he's still trying. I mean, I think there's things that we still, work with Jeff and show him on. But, I think his leadership, first and foremost, is something that's, been great. I think that, his effort, he plays a lot of snaps for us. And so his effort for a big man is very good. His physicality, he's fun to coach. He's coachable, takes the coaching. His team means a lot to him, so he's an important piece of who we are.
That was Mike Brabel on Jeffrey Simmons. I think Jeffrey Simmons is playing well. Like he's a good player. But, the hype when he was drafted was he was going to be a great player, and I still think he's a little bit short of that. Like, I think he's a good player, and you need good players. Yeah. If the rest of the defense was good players, you'd be a much better team. But I think even last night, and he played well last night, I still feel like there's another level there for Simmons where he could be like a monster that nobody could contain, and that he's not there yet.
Well, he was described as like an Aaron Donald Jr.
Right.
Like, just you wait, because
Right.
he is going to be that dude on defense in terms of the broader scheme of the league. But, what he did last night, he got the job done. The Titans got the win. But I think I am with you that it's like, okay, you're doing good things. We got to see a little bit more if you want to claim that Aaron Donald Jr. title.
So I do have a thought on the defense I'll get to in 1 second. Okay. First, though, a texter into the text line. Phone lines, by the way, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. A texter into the text line said that Joe Rexrode, and I hate this when somebody will say, well, Jared Stillman said, and they just completely misquote me or totally misinterpret what I was saying. And so I recognize that this happens. Somebody texted in the text line and said that Joe Rexrode said that it was 75% Titan fans at the game yesterday.
I didn't see the ticket count. I have a very hard time believing it was only 25% Bills fans.
So let me preface this with, if Joe said this, and remember, before Joe and I even started working together, I gave him the nickname Bad Take Joe. In fact, I remember when Joe first got there, and Willie would bring the newspaper into the studio, which I absolutely hated because Floyd would read it while we're on the air. And I'd be like, wake up, because he's in the middle of reading the newspaper. Joe wrote some column on Austin P football. And I remember thinking this guy just moved to town. He's writing about Austin P football. Oh my God. And I said to Floyd something, I was like, yeah, this Joe Rexrode, he says some really dumb stuff. And Floyd was like, yep. And that was that. And then once Joe became our teammate, we just kept getting on Joe all the time. So I've always had issues with things that Joe has said. If Joe Rexrode believes that was 75% Titan fans yesterday, he needs to be drug tested immediately by the radio station and by The Athletic, because there was no way that anybody who wasn't under the influence of some really good stuff could have thought that crowd was 75% Titan fans yesterday. No disrespect. 75% Titan fans. So again, I'm getting all riled up about something that Joe may have not said.
I don't know.
Let me throw that out there. I didn't hear it.
A texter said that he said that.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I slept in for most of the morning show today.
I did too.
Yeah. So I'm not, that's the one thing.
Long
about
night
the
last
afternoon
night.
show was you to get the game.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw that out there. Defense. How do we feel about the defense from this angle? Do we think Derrick Henry's good enough that we can now say with confidence that the Titans can go out there and score 38, 42 points a game in the big games against the good teams? And so all the defense has to give you is 31, 33, something like that this defense can be serviceable, or that this defense that you can win a Super Bowl, or you can contend with the good teams consistently with this defense, and that we have to look at it look, it is what it is. They stink. They clearly, the pass rush is on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the Arizona Cardinals. The pass rush is a 3.5, that the coverage is 2, and that the middle linebacker play is a 6, 6.5, 7, but that's enough. That's enough. That 3.5 on pass rush, 2 on coverage, 7 on middle linebacker tackling play, that's enough for you to be able to compete, because Derrick is so good. That the defense is what it is. They were 24th last year. They're 24th this year. In fact, they're 24th in points and 24th in total defense, and that this is just what they are, and we can all live with it, because yesterday I felt like it was pretty obvious to me that the Bills, for the most part, could get whatever they wanted to for most of the game. And I'm not going to make the excuses and sit there and say, well, I think Allen got it on the third down scramble, because you're going to get a good spot in one game, you're going to get a bad spot in another game.
Right.
So I'm okay with it. I'm not going to sit there and say that, there was one where Allen, I think on a third down, had a receiver wide open. I think it was Beasley. But he just threw it behind the guy and at his feet, and the ball hit the ground, and it was like, what? Now, Allen was rolling out. There was a little pressure. But it wasn't anything that really affected the throw that much. And a guy who's going to make $43 million a year should make that throw, and that should be a touchdown. So I'm not going to sit there and say, the Bills didn't play well enough or whatever. Bills are the Bills. WGR in Buffalo can worry about that. Can we sit here, look at this defense, and say, okay, this is what they are, and we can live with it if this is what they are and they're not worse? Or does the defense have to get better for this team to be as good as people really want it to be?
I think it's really easy to say that this is what the defense is, and we're okay with it as long as Derrick Henry, as long as a big dog eats. I think it's very easy to say that the day after you just beat the Buffalo Bills.
Sure.
And that's exactly what happened, is that the defense made stops. And you do have to give credit to some players on the defense. But overall, the defense wasn't great. They still allowed Josh Allen to scramble. They still allowed Josh Allen to air the ball out a good bit. So it's easy to say that, yeah, of course they can, because they did it last night. Mm-hmm. But just because they did it last night, and just because they did it against the Jacksonville Jaguars, doesn't mean that they should do that every week. Because can you imagine how good this team could be if Derrick Henry didn't have to do that every week? Mm-hmm. How if you could maybe just, pull Derrick back a little bit and maybe maintain him a little bit longer for the playoffs, which we don't even know if we necessarily need to do that with Derrick Henry, because he seems to be a physical freak and he can run for 150 yards every week. But if the Titans can set Derrick Henry and this offense up to not have to put the ball in Derrick Henry's hands on every single snap, this team would be so much better off.
I think I have to ask myself this question. Who do I need more out of, Tannehill or the defense? I feel like, honestly, you're more likely to get it out of Tannehill.
You're more likely to get it out of Tannehill, but I think I need more from the defense.
I just don't know if there's more there. I just don't know if there's more there. And, like, look, Buffalo's really good.
Buffalo's really good.
31 points to Buffalo is a lot better than 27 to the Jets. Like
100%.
That is without a doubt.
They held them 2 of 5 in the red zone. They sacked the quarterback. They made the goal line stop. They did what they needed to do in clutch times. But, I mean, they didn't do it consistently throughout the game. They haven't done it consistently throughout the season.
I cannot decide on the defense right now. I mean, I put it in the grid today, and I sometimes I just put what I'm thinking, even if it's not, the most appropriate thing to put in the grid. And I said the defense still drives Jared crazy, but maybe this is just something we're going to have to live with. Can we live with it? Can we live with this defense and say, okay, this is – and I think here's the question that I have for a lot of people. Like and I think this is where the fans and I maybe where we split in separate directions. I think fans can look at this team right now, 4-2. They're in first place in the division. And I thought winning last night was the biggest kick in the crotch to the Indianapolis Colts. Here they are. They finally win another game. They're 2-4. And they think, okay, if the Titans lose to the Bills and the Chiefs, then we're playing them for the division if we can just take care of business. And then you look at the Chiefs, and the Chiefs certainly don't look like the Chiefs. Then you think the Bills are surely going to beat the Titans. And the Titans beat the Bills. So all that hard work that you did by losing to the Jets for Indianapolis' sake, now you get it right back by beating the Bills. And Indy's thinking, oh, God, oh, my goodness. And I'm telling you right now, Titans can win the next 2 games. The division's over. But I do wonder, thinking about, okay, do you care to make the playoffs and then just kind of let it fly? Or are you looking at it like, can the Titans compete for and win a Super Bowl? Because I think those are 2 totally different discussions.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the defense, this defense can make the playoffs.
It can't compete for a Super Bowl.
And I'm wondering that. That's the question I wonder based off of what they did last night. I got to tell you, the one thing that's going to make your life a lot easier, and it's going to make my life a lot easier, and it's going to make all you as fans' lives easier, is if we just look at the DBs they're going to be putting out there these next couple of weeks and just don't have any expectations. It's going to be, Breon Body Calhoun. It's going to be Chris Jones and Dane Cruikshank and all these guys that aren't any good. Well, if we can just, sit back and say, look, man, they're going to complete the ball on Chris Jackson, then life will be a lot simpler than everybody getting mad every time and saying, this guy stinks, at least until Fulton gets back. I just want the defense to get lined up right. That's all I care about. You get beat, you get beat. Breon Borders got beat. Breon Borders going to get beat. Breon Borders got called for a penalty. Breon Borders going to get called for a penalty. I thought there was one yesterday. I don't know if you saw this. Stephon Diggs basically boxed out Chris Jackson like a basketball player, but he's using his arms.
Oh, I did see that.
And they threw the flag on Chris Jackson.
Juked. Yeah.
I thought that was terrible. I thought that look, this ain't basketball. Can't take your arms out and push the guy back. Look, I get it. He's Stephon Diggs and he's Chris Jackson. But I thought it was a terrible call. I thought the officiating last night was pretty bad. I didn't think it was atrocious like it has been in some of these games, but I did not love the officiating. There was a pass interference on Jackrabbit Jenkins in the end zone I didn't like. I don't know. Anywho, I guess it's the people complain about it a lot more when you lose. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. The Buffalo Bills tried something yesterday that everybody is discussing. And I have a theory that actually is complimentary of the Titans. And nobody around the country is talking about it. We'll get to that next. Stillman and Company right here, ESPN 1025 The Game. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Those guys take fantastic care of my home, and I promise that they can do the same for you. I absolutely love Hiller, and I love the way that they take care of my home. They have a happy you'll be or the service is free guarantee, and I can stand by that guarantee because I use Hiller at my home, like I said, and I absolutely love them. Look, we've all noticed the inventory shortages and empty shelves everywhere. Now there are serious shortages on equipment and products for your home. HVAC systems, tankless water heaters, and generators are going to be extremely limited in 2022. If you need a replacement, call our friends at Hiller today. Don't wait until you are out of options. Hiller has special financing available, so you buy now and you pay nothing until next year. Their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services Free Guarantee. You can learn more at happyhiller.com. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud supporters of the Vanderbilt Commodores. the Tennessee Volunteers and the Nashville Predators. Call the Happy Face Truck today.
This is Ellie Tolvanen, and this is Nashville.
Tolvanen to score! Ellie Tolvanen, a laser!
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Announcing a rare opportunity for huge savings. If you're in the market for replacement windows or doors, Saturday, October 23rd, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is having an open house, offering 10% off all merchandise. That even includes 10% off their current special offers. Mark your calendar and stop by the Pella Windows and Doors in Cool Springs, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for these great deals. Bring your measurements or snap a picture of your replacement needs and come to Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville.
Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel is one of Nashville's favorite places to dine, serving up their award-winning menu items again. Kitchen Notes is renowned for their Southern-inspired dishes with a contemporary twist. Their breakfast features the popular Music City omelets, sourdough pancakes, cast iron waffles, plus everyone knows that their Sunday brunches are the talk of the town. Lunch menu items include smoked prime rib, chicken hash, and the Kitchen Notes legendary shrimp and grits. Kitchen Notes is open Thursday through Sunday at 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Football is back, and Electronic Express has what you need to make the game bigger than ever. Bring the stadium to you with the best in-home entertainment from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Watching the game on the go? Save big on laptops, tablets, and headphones. Plus, we have all your appliance needs up to 50% off, and get up to 36 months free financing. We've got you covered this football season at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use. Only down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Two of the biggest names in comedy are coming.
Motherfucker threw a banana peel at me. It was premeditated. You can tell.
Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan together.
We are weird. Because what we are really is we're some weird super organism.
This Sunday, Bridgestone Arena. Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan.
It's like, you didn't eat that banana recently, motherfucker. You had that shit waiting on me.
Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Every Saturday morning at 9, we hit the big topics. The Ally 400, Kyle Busch, frustrated, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and talk to the big names.
I'll go ahead and blame you.
Oh, I think it's big.
Could go a lot of different directions right now.
I was so impressed.
How cool that's going to be.
It's Chasing Checkers, Saturday morning at 9 on ESPN 102.5 The Game and wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Could be the ball game. 4th and 1. Allen leans forward, and I don't think he got there. Josh Allen looked like he slipped down. Naquan Jones stuffed the hole, Josh Allen. And it's Titans football. And maybe the game.
There you go. It was Titans football, and if Steve could do the math right about how timeouts and the clock works, he would know that it is, in fact, the game. Though I probably was a little nervous, too, them snapping at the 3-yard line and taking a knee, like, right there. Like, I was a little, like, don't take a step
little nervous
back
about it.
or anything like
Yeah.
that. So, around the country, First Take today opened up with this segment, which was it the right call for Buffalo to go for it on 4th down? And that is like a topic that has been all over the place. I don't know if you guys have seen this viral video of Chris Broussard, noted basketball guy, on Fox Sports 1 today, talking about how, now, if the Bills had had their left tackle, Taylor Lewan, in the game, then maybe they would have got that 1st down.
That was so bad.
By the way, you know that Lewan, in the Chris Broussard voice, Lewan rhymes with LeBron. So LeBron, my sources told me that AD and KD wanted to play with LeBron, but then that Kyrie wanted to, whatever. So anywho, It was
Bills
discussed.
Pro Bowl left tackle Taylor Lewan.
Lewan. So it was discussed everywhere, all over the place that, should they have gone for it? Should they have not gone for it? I think you can do whatever you want. You can argue either side of the table. You can say, hey, I want to win the game right there. And if I get it and score the touchdown, the game's over and I win. I don't want to give Derrick Henry the ball back in overtime. I think that's a fair thing you can say. I also think that you can say, hey, I've got the better team. Like, I've got the better quarterback. I've got the better defense. I've got the number one defense and the number one offense, and their defense stinks. Coin toss, I win the game. Lose it, okay, go get me the ball back, defense, and then let's go.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was watching the game, and I thought, okay, Caroline Fenton, head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Me personally, I probably would have kicked a field goal, take it to overtime, because that was my thinking, was the Buffalo Bills are the better team.
But the one thing that nobody's talking about, so you can do it either way, or, whichever one you want. And when are teams going to learn? And I don't think teams know this. As much film work as they do, as much studying as they do, as much talking about, well, we got 15,000 meetings we got to have. I don't think anybody ever talks about this. And it is that the Titans, over the last 3 years, have been incredible in short distance situations. They haven't been unstoppable. They haven't gotten every 4th and short, but they had 2 goal line stands against the New England Patriots in the playoffs in 2019. Stop them then. They had 2 4th and shorts against the Ravens the next week. Stop them. Both plays. The next play after the first 4th and short was a Tannehill touchdown to Khalif Raymond that made it 14-0. And then the second one was a Derrick Henry 70-yard run. So humongous momentum shifts on these goal line stands. Ryan Tannehill's first start against the Chargers, exact same situation. Chargers are knocking on the door to end the game. Titans stop them. They stopped the Buccaneers at the goal line that year. They even stopped Jacksonville at the goal line last week when Tier Tart shot through there, and they stopped the running back, Carlos Hyde, and everyone got mad at Urban for not giving it to James Robinson or not sneaking with Trevor Lawrence. But nobody talks about this. The short yardage defense under Vrabel has been incredible. And that's the one thing I would have kicked if I was Buffalo. This is not second guessing. This is first guessing. But you know me, when in doubt, I usually kick.
Yeah.
And I had the better team. I would have kicked if I was Buffalo. But I would have at least thought about, hey, they have been really good in short yardage situations in the past. Big short yardage situations. Now, Lamar got them last year, trying to get the ball back. At the end of the game, I think there was like a 3rd and short or something, and Lamar snuck his way in through it. And so they're not perfect. But, I mean, nobody around, and again, nobody around the country watches the Titans, but I at least thought that Buffalo would have gone in with that thought process, and I'm not sure they did. I'm not sure when Sean McDermott was weighing the options. I think coaches sometimes think, like, I got to show my guys that I believe in them, so let's go for it. But I would not risk a 4th and short against the Titans when I don't have to, because unless I got a play I love, like that 2-point conversion play they ran, you want to run that? Okay. I would not risk it because I'd rather take my chances in overtime. Now, I will say this. I don't think some of these other ones, the Titans made some great plays, like, what was the guy that used to live by me? Austin Johnson. Austin Johnson against the Patriots, opened a huge hole, and Rashaan Evans ran right through it and tackled the guy. Or Tier Tart last week, shooting that gap. I mean, Simmons got his hands on Allen, but Allen slipped. So as much as I can say, hey, why would you do this against the Titans? They did slip. But I'm shocked nobody's talking about this, that short yardage defense is really good. Like, that short yardage defense is really, really, really good, and I can't figure it out. Because they're bad in every other element of defense. But the short yardage stuff, I thought was impressive. Again, you can do whatever you want. I would have kicked. But nobody around the country, when they're making this decision, is giving credit to the fact that the Titans' short yardage defense over the years and even last week on the goal line scenarios, they've been outstanding.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would have kicked, and I know that's not the fun or sexy answer, but it's you go for it on 4th down. You're putting all of the marbles on this one single down. I say kick the field goal. They would have made it easily. Take it to overtime. Give yourself more chances to win. I do see both sides of it, though, because finish the game. You are inches away from the goal line. Just go ahead and finish the game, and that's a win. You don't have to worry about going into overtime.
Why do you think McDermott went for it? What do you think the real reason was? Not what he said, not what. What do you think the real reason he went for it was?
I mean, it's hard to think that he didn't think that they thought they were going to get it. I mean, I think that he just wanted to end the game there because I think that he was worried about Derrick Henry getting the ball in his hands again in overtime.
So if Derrick Henry was the reason that he decided to go for it, I can go with that. Anything else, I don't think I can accept. I can't accept that, hey, I wanted to win the game right here, right now. That's what a lot of coaches say. But I just don't believe in that.
And it was so close.
There was a lot going on in that last minute, too. I mean, there was a lot to unpack in that last minute. Vrabel, I wish someone would have asked him this in the press conference today about his decision to not take any of the timeouts there at the end and just kind of let Buffalo deal with the clock, deal with the timeouts. Sean McDermott for sure thought Josh Allen had gotten the first down on that scramble that they ended up ruling a half a yard short to make it 4th down. So I think combined with the thought they had the first down, with the clock situation, with the timeouts, I think there was just a lot going on. And I think it led to some confusion on his part at times there. Because you could see after the game, I listened to a lot of the press conference, pretty much all of McDermott and Josh Allen after the game. And, like you said, their mantra pretty much was, hey, I trust 17, Josh Allen, I trust my guys with the ball. We're going to go make the play. We just didn't execute. It almost sounded, at that point, he was almost kind of, I don't know, it's tricky who you blame on that kind of situation. But to me, it seemed like there was just a lot going on, and they seemed almost a little bit flustered.
And that's usually not to say that I think that Vrabel was, pulling the strings on that or whatever. Those end-of-game situations, I do think that, if your team's flustered, then just play it safe. That's why Belichick didn't call the timeout in the Super Bowl because, and the video shows Patricia saying to Belichick, you want to call it, and Bill's just looking at the Seattle sideline, and he thought they were too disjointed. And then on the next play, they threw the ball.
Opportunity.
Right.
And Josh Allen
the ball
didn't
and Malcolm Butler.
Yeah, intercepted.
What's that, Ian?
Sorry to interrupt. And I was just going to say, Josh Allen didn't really run the sneak very well. He really, not only did he probably go the wrong direction, the other side of the line was not prepared very well. I believe it was 94. Bledsoe was kind of – because they did – the Titans made that little move on the inside, I think, to try and draw him off for a false start. But it kind of backfired because they reset, and Josh Allen went in and looked like he was about to audible, and instead he kind of quick snap and tried to push, but he went the wrong direction. And he had some wasted movement. He went too lateral and then tried to push forward instead of just grabbing it and just leaning forward and pushing. He would have easily made it. He's big
that's
enough.
Brady behind center?
Easily got it.
That's Brady behind center? That's easy every time. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. We'll go to your phones next. Plus, I do need to tell the story. The story of what I told the Bills fans on the bridge on the way back. Stillman & Company, it's ESPN 1025 The Game.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man, and they fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans, this team has a knack for rising to the occasion in big games.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Gary Ashton here. Most people in Nashville know me as the don't sell without the intel and the guaranteed offer guy. But despite my accent, I'm also 100% guaranteed Nashville. I'm a guaranteed musician, a guaranteed dog lover, and you're also guaranteed to see me at every Titans and Preds game. Guaranteed offer means the Gary Ashton team with RE/MAX Advantage will sell your house for top dollar with no cleaning, staging, showings, or open houses, and give you up to 90 days to close. So there's plenty of time to find your next home. Guaranteed Nashville means my team lives here and loves it here. We've served Nashville for over 20 years, and we're passionate about helping the people we call neighbors and friends, which is why we've had a long-standing tradition of donating to the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. If you're thinking about a guaranteed offer, get the only one that's guaranteed Nashville. Request a no-obligation offer by calling 615-301-1650 or go to GaryAshton.com today. Remember, Gary Ashton, guaranteed Nashville.
Mortgage rates are on the move. Don't miss the chance to lock in the best rate of your lifetime with my friends at Loan Pronto. Hey, Willie Donick here. Call Loan Pronto today and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. So many people are doing this. You can get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees, no closing costs. Yes, they pay your closing costs, even if you refinanced 6 months ago. Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy. Virtually no paperwork required. And most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now and start the process. Don't wait on rates to spike again. If your current APR is over 2.75, call now for a free 30-second quote. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Curation CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Curation CBD. Curation means healing, and that right there says it all. Curation is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Curation is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets, too. Order yours now at CurationCompany.com. Curation CBD, curated for life.
This is Stillman and Company, delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company here on a Reaction Monday. Reaction Monday is presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus, the sparkling water with a spark. So, I'm on the bridge last night after the game. I feel like I need to tell this story, and then I promise your phones here on the program on a Reaction Monday. And I'm on the bridge, and it is packed.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there have been some times, and like normally I like parking at the stadium. And so on a Sunday, like this upcoming Sunday, I will park at the stadium, walk across the bridge, do the pregame show, walk across the bridge, go to the game, get in my car, and go home. But because we had this show and the parking lots don't open early enough, I parked right where we were, at Rock Bottom yesterday, and I walked right across the bridge, and then after the game, walked across the bridge. And there have been some packed bridge experiences for me, like the Taylor Swift concert in 2018. That was the most packed I have ever seen that bridge in my entire life.
Probably a little bit different clientele than the Titans-Bills game.
I don't know, man. Taylor Swift, is pretty popular amongst a lot of different,
That is true. She can't not do anything.
So this was like one step below this. So if that was a 10, this was a 9. And so I'm up there, and there's all these Bill fans there, no matter what Joe Rexroad tells you. And I did talk to Joe on the phone, and he said 25% Bills fans, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard out of that man's mouth.
I have a hard time believing that.
But I'm on the bridge, and I see all these Bill fans. And I'm not going to, go up to the Bill fans and be like, spend all that money and leave with an L. There you go, Bubba. I'm not doing that.
Saw plenty of people doing that last night.
But I'm not going to do that.
Which is fair.
But I am going to talk loud enough so that people can hear it, even if they don't want to hear it. So I said to the person I was with, I said, you know what's funny? All these Buffalo fans spent all this money coming here, and they all look so sad right now. But at least they can walk away with the solace of this, that they, 25 years from now, can turn to their kids and say, hey, I saw Derrick Henry when he was in his prime. I got to see Derrick Henry. And you'd think that's not that big of a deal now. But I think 25 years from now, when we talk, there's going to be a great running back, and he's going to be running like crazy, and all of us that are in our middle ages now, or younger ages, or whatever you want to call it, we're all going to be old peepops by then. And when that happens, we're going to be like, no, we saw Derrick Henry. And so I do think Bill fans that were upset, and there were a lot of them, I do think Bill fans can walk away with some solace that they got to see an all-time great performance from what is right now an all-time great player. Think about all these people that were...
Sounds so sassy, though.
Yeah, but think about all these Indiana Pacer fans who went to the Market Square Arena back in the 90s and to root on the Pacers that now say, oh, yeah, well, I saw, back in the day when Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller were hooking up. And, I mean, Michael Jordan was – and they had talked about how great it was that they got to watch Michael Jordan play. I mean, I went to Greer Stadium as a 4-year-old to watch Michael Jordan play baseball. So at least back then, if you went to go see Michael Jordan, you were appreciating what you were going to see, even if you weren't rooting for that guy. And I don't think Bill fans – were rooting for Derek, obviously.
Oh, obviously not.
But I will say, they should be honored that in their life they got to see what I think is all-time greatness out of Derrick Henry.
That, I hear you.
And I'm not Derrick Henry. So it's not like I'm sitting there and, if Derrick were to say, hey, you got to see my greatness tonight, then that's arrogant, cocky, sassy, whatever you want to call it.
And he would never say that.
But
I don't
I'm
think
not
he even
Derrick.
believes that.
I'm thinking Derrick. I mean,
maybe I'm not going to put words in his mouth.
Derrick will never say, any of that kind of stuff. But I am starting to think that Derrick Henry knows he's the best.
Well.
And when you're the best,
It's hard to not think that.
And so.
But I don't think that he's thinking, wow, look at all these Bills fans that are lucky enough to see me. Okay. I think there's a difference between thinking that and thinking I'm the best.
If I phrase it like, Michael Jordan played in all 82 games and knew that every time that he went into an arena, even if it was a Tuesday night on the road at Vancouver, that every single person that was there in that crowd was there to watch Michael Jordan play. So Michael felt the need to put on a show. Mm-hmm. It's just worded nicer, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
All these people are here to see me, and so now I got to go put on a show for them to go show them I'm the best because they're here to see that I'm the best. That is maybe more callous than the other way, but it's all the same at the end. And I don't know if Derrick thinks that. And I don't think that we treat Derrick like that.
I don't think we do because I think that the Michael Jordan claim to fame or the Michael Jordan excellence is because he won so many championships.
Yeah, but he was
Derrick
like
Henry's, that. Derrick Henry is the Michael Jordan of the Titans.
But he was like that before he won his championships. I mean,
But people weren't coming out of the woodworks to come see him play before he won championships, or did they?
Michael was, even before he won, Michael was, woo. Michael was, woo. I mean, there's a clip, where they're talking about, and Magic just goes, Jordan's best player in our game. Not even close. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bob Knight, there was an old saying that Bob Knight was asked, because he coached the U.S. Olympic team. And Portland had the number 2 pick. They ended up taking Sam Bowie. Mm-hmm. And Portland called and asked, who should we take? Because Olajuwon was going to go number 1. And Bob Knight said, take Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. And Portland said, he's not a center, and we need a center. And Bob Knight goes, play him at center. Just take him.
He'll be fine.
And so, anywho, that's a long way of saying, Michael was great. I don't think, and we'll get onto this the other side, I don't think that we appreciate Derrick Henry as much as we should. I think the Buffalo fans, certainly. There was a Buffalo fan that said to me, and I tweeted this out, I was talking about Derrick, and she goes, that was the one guy I was afraid of. I was afraid, and I know it's weird, but she had a country accent. She was like, that was the one guy I was afraid of. I was afraid of Derrick. That was the one guy y'all had that I was afraid of him beating us, and he did. And I'm like, well, duh.
Yeah.
When the Patriots come to town, I was always worried about Tom Brady. I never said.
That's a fair warning there.
If Jonas Gray has 4 touchdowns, that happens once. Peyton Manning, he beat the Titans a lot here. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, and I do promise we'll get to your text today because we have
a bunch of texts lined up.
Have, not been great on the text line. But coming up next, I do want to talk about, are we appreciating what we saw last night? Are we appreciating what we're watching? We'll discuss that. Boll and Branch. Speaking of appreciating, I appreciate my Boll and Branch sheets. Everyday essentials in your life you probably don't even think of until it's time that you got to replace it. You got to fix it. You got to get a new one. So if you're in the market for new sheets, guys, you need to hear my friends from Boll and Branch. If you dream of a comfortable sheet that you can lay your body on at night, not have irritating rashes, scratching, you name it, look no further than Boll and Branch. I know somebody who had a terrible sleep last night, and I bet she wishes that she had some Boll and Branch sheets.
I do wish that.
And I just absolutely love my Boll and Branch sheets because they are so comfortable that it literally feels like I'm sleeping on a cloud. They're also just fantastic. I mean, the materials are absolutely outstanding. Buttery soft, lightweight organic cotton and a classic satin weave for sheets that get softer over time. These sheets come in 7 beautiful colors and in all sizes from twin up to California King, and they're made to a high standard, 100% organic cotton, ethical production, and thoughtful attention in every detail. Experience the best sheets you've ever felt at BolandBranch.com. Get 15% off your first set of sheets when you use the promo code JARED at checkout. That's Boland Branch, BOLLAND branch.com, promo code JARED.
It's game day in Smashville. Brought to you by Hermitage, the Design Center.
And the shot off the goalpost, and the rebound comes home by Philip Forsberg.
The Preds seek their first win of the season on home ice against the LA Kings.
Want to win, especially at home, but it's 80 more games, so you just got to try to find our game.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6 on Smashville's Best Sports Talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
I sing country music. I call myself true modern country.
Let's run away.
Grayson Michael is a rising star in country music. He also just got engaged with help from Genesis Diamonds.
I got a ring twice as big as I thought I was going to be able to get.
Grayson shopped other stores, but nobody could beat Genesis.
The value was insane comparatively to what I looked at other local jewelers. There was just absolutely no comparison.
But beyond the price, Grayson just loved the experience at Genesis. The relaxed feel, the education.
Not pushy at all, which I really liked. You know, most of us guys, we don't really know a lot about diamonds. They help educate you so you can decide what's important to you and what's best for your purchase.
He ended up with a spectacular Henry Dawsey designer ring that his fiancée loves to show off.
When people compliment her ring, I always say thank you.
Genesis Diamonds.
It's just unmatched. The price, the quality, and the service.
Where Nashville gets engaged.
Genesis Diamonds is the only place you want to go for your diamond purchase. They'll take care of you, and you'll take care of your lady.
Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Signs First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, Robbie Stanley here. Basketball season is back, and there's no better place to bet on the NBA than FanDuel Sportsbook. And to celebrate NBA tip-off, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers enhanced odds. That's right, get 75-1 odds on any team to win on October 19th or 20th. I really like the Memphis Grizzlies. Really like John Moran and company. Maybe that's an option for you this time around, but you take it any way you want to take it. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now's the perfect time to give it a shot. I love the fast withdrawals, the great odds boosts and specials, and the live betting on every game. So see for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code ROB to get 75-1 odds on any team to win October 19th or 20th. Once again, that promo code is ROB. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. A $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus of $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. It is a Reaction Monday presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and by Focus, a sparkling water with a spark. Drink Focus. We're also streaming, by the way, live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, and we are live at Bridgestone Arena today where the Preds take on the LA Kings. So, when you think about the all-time greats, like that you get to watch, I always feel like if you've been in sports long enough, or if you're a big enough sports fan, or if you're old enough, there's always that story that you have of, I got to see this all-time great one time, and I just remember it like it was. And I feel that way about a lot of things over the last handful of years. I've seen Tom Brady play. Like, I've seen the greatest quarterback, I think the greatest football player ever, play multiple times. But when I was in the 7th grade, the year after Brady won his first Super Bowl, The Patriots finished 9-7 that year, I believe, didn't make the playoffs. They played a Monday night football game in Nashville against the Titans. And the Titans were a really good team that year. They went to the AFC Championship game. They had Steve McNair and Eddie George. And I didn't go to that game thinking that I'm getting to watch the greatest player of all time. I knew they were the defending Super Bowl champions, but I didn't think that was the greatest coach of all time, and I didn't think that was the greatest player of all time. But now, when you see Brady, you do. Like, you know, this is the greatest player of all time. When you saw Michael Jordan play, you were going because he was the greatest player ever. You were watching an all-time great. And I was talking about this in the last segment, about do we appreciate the things that Derrick Henry is doing right now? Because when it comes to all-time greats, and you think of all-time great running backs, they're always the same names. Walter Payton, Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson. They're all the same every time. Now, every now and then there's a weird, wrinkle thrown in here that, oh, yeah, by the way, Curtis Martin did this too. But all the great running backs, there's like a group of 9 of them. And everything Derrick seems to do, his name is there. It's like Derrick is the first running back to ever do this. I think yesterday I saw a stat about rushing yards and touchdowns in the first 6 games of the season, and it was him, Eric Dickerson, and Jim Brown. And he does it almost every week, where there's a new stat that has those kind of names in it. TD wrote a great article at ESPN.com about if Derrick continues the pace he's on now, he'll be Emmitt Smith's age of 33 or 34 years old when he breaks the record, which was how old Emmitt was when he broke the record. And then I'm starting to think, wait a minute, Emmitt, breaking the record? And I love Derrick. I'm not sure he's going to get to that. But what we're watching right now is literally all-time great stuff on a week in and week out basis. And it's not like this is all-time great stuff for one game, the 238, 4 touchdowns against Jacksonville. It's not like it's been 4 games like it was the end of the 2018 season. It's not like it's one good season. I mean, he's now been doing this for almost 4 years. He's won 2 rushing titles. He's well on his way to a 3rd. Nobody has done that, I believe, since Steve Van Buren did it in 1948. My dad wasn't even born when all that was going on, and he just turned 70. The NFL has a 102-year history, and what Derrick Henry has done over the last 26 games or whatever it is has never been done in that 102-game history or year history. And I was joking about how the Buffalo fans got to come here and they got to celebrate and they got to be happy that they got to watch Derrick Henry play. And I kind of say that tongue-in-cheek. Like you said, it was a little sassy. It was a little bit of a put you down. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, here's your consolation prize. You got to see our running back who's the all-time great. But in all seriousness, and I mean seriously, are we appreciating what we get to see on a week in and week out basis? I mean, I have Titans tickets, and I know when it's a hot ticket because everybody was hitting me up this week for Titans tickets. Anybody got tickets here? Anybody got tickets there? Anybody? By the way, just note to my friends, if I got them, ask early, because if I got them and you ask and you're my friend, you get them, and if you don't and I don't have them, then I don't have them. You ask on Monday night for a Monday night game, I got them. But that's my whole point, though, is that I don't think people rush to the box office to go see Derrick Henry play. They literally, when the Patriots practiced here, people were going to those practices. Now, they were free, but people were going to those practices to see Tom Brady because a lot of people were never going to get to see Tom Brady again. He's 41 years old, and how much longer does he have left in him? And he's practicing here in Nashville, and you can come out for 2 days and watch Tom Brady practice, and it was packed. And I do wonder that if Titan fans are truly appreciative of what last night's effort was. What's crazy about Derrick is that 150 and 3 touchdowns for any running back is a banner day. That is oh my God. And Derrick did that last week, and he did that this week. And he's playing Kansas City, who he's got a 150-yard game in the playoffs against. He totally appreciates it either, right? Titans Chiefs, noon kickoff on CBS. I don't even know what broadcasters we have. I'm sure it's probably like Greg Gumbel and Adam Archuleta. Like, shouldn't this be, Tony Romo, Jim Nance, 3 o'clock? You got Patrick Mahomes versus Derrick Henry. And Derrick is not eccentric. Derrick does not, he's got some endorsements. He's got the Old Spice commercial and the Madden commercial, but he's not over the top about himself. Odell Beckham Jr. is. Odell Beckham Jr. played in New York. Derrick Henry's not. He plays in Tennessee. But I just am looking at this that we saw last night, and I know I've said this a couple of times, not just today, but like this is all-time great stuff, like legitimately. And I just hope we, the Titan fans, we, the people in Nashville, we, the people that get to cover it on a week in and week out basis, give it its due. I'm not saying go stalk Derrick Henry and wait outside of his house or anything like that. But I'm just talking about appreciate the greatness that's in front of you. And I don't want to turn this into a carnival act because I can probably see how you could interpret that would be this way too, of saying, hey, this is, come all, see the Derrick Henry, the 9th wonder of the world. I'm not trying to say that either. But I mean, my goodness gracious, I can't believe what he's doing. It is phenomenal. It is just not what people do now. And I just hope that everybody understands that what we're looking at right now. And you don't know how much longer this will continue for. Because surely it can't, right? Surely he's not going to carry the ball 100 times more this year than he did last year. And then go into the next season and still run for 150 and 3 touchdowns in a game, right?
Well, history would tell us that it's not sustainable. But also, Derrick Henry has been doing things that nobody else in history has ever done. And I don't want to bank on that of, give Derrick Henry the ball on every single down and run up his touches and run up the number of yards he gets because he can do it. He can handle it. I don't necessarily want to say it like that, but he can do things other people can't do.
I know, but 5 years from now.
5 years from now,
no.
But we didn't think that he was going to be able to get to 2,000 yards this year, and it kind of feels like he might. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it. Kind of feels like he might.
I think he's getting to 2,000.
Yeah.
Let's take your calls. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Here's my question. Do you think that we are appreciating what Derrick Henry is doing right now? And I will say this. As much as I was joking about how the Bill fans were lucky enough to get to see Derrick, I hope they do walk away long-term and realize that. They're like, hey, I know that our team lost, but it's like my dad and I went to London. We watched Mike Vrabel go for 2 against the Chargers and lose. And while I was upset about the result, I was thankful that I got to go to London for 4 days with my dad, somewhere that I've never been before.
It's a silver lining.
And we got to do that, have that experience. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, for Bills fans that had a great time in Nashville, probably hate that their team lost, will they look at this and say, hey, man, that was an all-time great performance from an all-time great player. At the end of Michael's career, when he went to Madison Square Garden and was dropping 50, those people at Madison Square Garden, and they hated Michael because, the New York-Chicago rivalry, they were like, man, hey, hats off, Michael. You're the king. And I wonder if they feel that way about Derrick. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. And I do wonder about that broadcasting assignment because surely Titans Chiefs has to do better than Spiro Ditas and those guys, right? Surely. 615-737-1025. Caroline wants to tell you about BetUS.
I want to tell you about my favorite sports book, and my favorite sports book is BetUS. Football is back. Time to get in on the action. BetUS has been America's favorite sports book for over 25 years, and that is exactly why I endorse them, because they have integrity, they have longevity, and when you win on BetUS that you are going to get paid. Take my word for it, because I have done it. BetUS offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, all kinds of crazy prop bets. Anything you want to put money on, you can do it with BetUS. So call them today. They will walk you through setting up an account. Their number is 1-800-79-BET-US. Just call 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS, so if you join now, mention promo code GAME, you can get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. Nobody in the industry beats BetUS. That's exactly why I bet there, and so should you. So go now to BetUS.com, join today, put in promo code GAME for a sign-up bonus on your first deposit. That is BetUS.com.
Nobody's He's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown. 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man. They fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a four-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans. They made some big-time plays. They were great in the red zone.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Staples Connect is a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Winter's a bad time for your furnace to go out, but it's never a bad time to call Lee Company. Our heating and air conditioning pros are available 24/7. No heat? Don't wait. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000. Our expert technicians will diagnose the issue and fix it right the first time. When you're cold, you need someone you can count on to bring the heat. Call Lee Company now at 615-567-1000 or visit leecompany.com.
Football is back, and Electronic Express has what you need to make the game bigger than ever. Bring the stadium to you with the best in-home entertainment from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Watching the game on the go? Save big on laptops, tablets, and headphones. Plus, we have all your appliance needs up to 50% off, and get up to 36 months free financing. We've got you covered this football season at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Hey, Darren McFarland here, and let me tell you about my friends at Chappelle CBD. If you're like me and have aches and pains all over your body, and you've been searching for a solution, well, I've got it. It's Chappelle CBD. Chappelle means healing, and that right there says it all. Chappelle is locally and organically sourced CBD products right here from Middle Tennessee. From seed to final sell, Chappelle is passionate about providing quality products for everyday use for athletes and for pets too. Order yours now at CharationCompany.com. Chappelle CBD, curated for life.
It's football season, and Social Furniture has the best lifetime guarantee motion furniture on sale now. Their sofas with recliners are push-button electric and wall-away with all colors to choose from for your comfort. Sectionals from $9.99, recliners from $3.99. Sectionals with Chase Lounge and all-electric recliners from $19.99. Social Furniture will have you football ready with all furniture that are plus leather, microfiber, and Social Furniture has same-day delivery with no down payments and no interest. Forget the big box store. Support local. Support social.
Interact with Stillman and Company. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Derrick Henry into the second level and into the end zone. Touchdown.
This team continues to jump on your back, and today was an example. You know, in an era where there's not a lot of bell cow backs like yourself, how much pride do you take in that alone?
Yeah, I'm about to get my girl to massage my back. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, man, I just just come out here, just try to be the best player I can, the best teammate I can, and come out here and take advantage of my opportunities and making plays for this team. Whatever I can do to give us a chance to win, I'm willing to do. And love this team, love this organization, love my teammates. So.
Derrick, he's going to need just a little bit. Derrick's going to need that back massage, and I think he's going to need a lot of massaging and a lot of
rehabbing, some ice bathing. But also, Derrick, I think you can afford to go get an actual massage.
So, you know what's crazy? I think Derrick probably gets like 2 a week.
Probably.
I would guess that. And unlike Deshaun Watson, he's probably not doing that through Instagram.
Probably not.
But again, I'm not here to judge.
Not the Robert Kraft School of Massaging.
So the Buffalo Bill fans. So I don't know where this came from, but apparently Buffalo Bill fans have their rebuke of Derrick Henry absolutely laying the smackdown on them. And it is, this one guy tweeted me and said, take away Henry's 76-yard run, and he had 67 yards on 19 carries for an average of 3.5 yards per carry. One amazing play and 19 average plays. Somebody tweeted me. I think that was like the Bills fans thing, was take the 76-yard run away, and it really wasn't that good of a day.
But you can't take away the 76-yard run.
You can't take away. If you go 2 for 3 with, or 3 for 4 with 2 singles and a grand slam, that's an all-time great game. That's Babe Ruth right there.
But if you take the grand slam away, you only had 2 singles.
Doesn't matter. And it's like, well, yes, but that's what makes Derek great, is that he can hit the home run. And I'm going to say something. As somebody in the stands yesterday, there is a feeling with him. Like with 8 minutes to go, Titans got the ball, and I'm like, is that too much time? Not, can Derek do it? I knew he could do it. He's the most valuable player in the league to me. I know he can do it. It's, was there too much time on the clock? And as I saw Derek kind of break that last one, I was like, no, it is.
Wait
too
just
much
a little
time,
bit, Derek.
too
Wait
much
just
time.
a little bit.
I was looking at the clock. Titans are like down around about to score, and there's 4 minutes, 5 minutes to go, and I'm like, they need to put this in there with 1:45 on the clock. Like, they need to. Let's go to your phones. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. 615-737-1025. By the way, we are live at Bridgestone Arena as the Preds take on the LA Kings today. And the 1025 The Game Preds Game Day broadcast is brought to you by Hermitage the Design Center, the professional source for lighting, hardware, appliance, custom kitchens, and baths on the web at gohermitage.com. Dave has been waiting patiently and is up next on Derrick Henry. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, so the answer to your question, I think, is no. Folks aren't appreciating it, and I think it's because he hasn't taken the team all the way to the AFC Championship game and won it yet. Maybe he will this year.
So I was thinking, thank you for your call, Dave, was just thinking of like all-time greats. Was Charles Barkley not an all-time great because he never won? Was Karl Malone not an all-time great because he never? I understand that the idea of winning the championship is bigger than, and it's a big deal in all sports, but Barry Sanders never won anything.
Dan Marino.
And people still consider those guys all-time greats. So I don't, like, dude, this is Nashville, Tennessee. Like, this idea that Derrick Henry has to win a Super Bowl before you can get off your feet and say, hey, thank you for giving us the opportunity to watch you on a week in and week out basis. This is all-time great stuff. I mean, I do think that Derrick does need to win the title maybe for that national validation of being the best. Like, I do think right now Derrick Henry is the most valuable player in the NFL to his team. Like, I think if the Buffalo Bills lost Josh Allen, and I don't know who their backup is, but just put in a replacement-level quarterback, an average backup quarterback.
Jacob Eason's on the market.
They can get him.
I think Trubisky is their backup.
Sure. Okay. Put that guy in there. They still probably go 10-7. Like, they still probably are a good team. In fact, they're probably better than 10-7. Trubisky made the playoffs with the Bears twice, and those Bears rosters were not as good as this Bills roster. So they are still the best team in that division without Josh Allen. I think the Ravens are terrible without Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cowboys are probably terrible without Dak Prescott. So I think those are the three most valuable guys off the top of my head. And yet I probably know that if you were to take a poll around the league or of the voters, the media, that Kyler Murray would rank higher than Derrick Henry, that Matthew Stafford would rank higher than Derrick Henry. And I'm sorry, but the Rams are a playoff team year in and year out with Jared Goff as quarterback, and he's 0-6. So it can't be that quarterback is the most important thing to the Rams. It can't be. Whereas I think this is a truly awful team without Derrick. I mean, I think that this is a team that is not as bad as Jacksonville and Houston, but not much better than Jacksonville and Houston if Derrick Henry's not on it.
Put them on the level of like the Colts.
I think they're way below the Colts.
I have a question for you in the all-time great talk. Talking about, if Derrick Henry doesn't win a Super Bowl, you can't necessarily consider him an all-time great.
Which I don't believe.
Which I don't necessarily believe that. But my question for you is, you say winning is a quarterback stat. To be considered an all-time great quarterback, do you have to win a Super Bowl? Is that more so of a quarterback stat? Because
it has become a quarterback thing where, like,
you can't be considered an all-time great quarterback if you don't win a Super Bowl.
Well,
I think that's more fair.
It's like the Lamar stuff, right? Like, people will say, I heard him arguing today about Lamar on TV. And, I got to see it in the playoffs, and I got to this, and I got to that. And I'm like, yes, and I agree with that. But every great quarterback, with the exception of Marino and Jim Kelly over the last 30 years, has won one, right? Elway finally won his. Favre won one. Aaron won one. Drew Brees won one. Peyton won one. Then he won a second one. Russell won one. Like, Mahomes has one. And I think that's kind of how these things work, is that you get one. Everyone who's great gets one.
Mm-hmm.
Then things start to change a little bit, and the guys who get more than one, that's where it's really impressive. That's why Brady's 7 is so unbelievable, because it's like that. Aaron Rodgers is an all-time great quarterback. He's got one. He's got one, and that was early in his career. And remember the Chiefs the last couple of years talked all that trash about, we're going to win 7 titles with Mahomes. No, Mahomes has won one, and it looks like Mahomes is going to win one. Maybe the Chiefs get it figured out.
Still
but
early.
Right now, this doesn't look like a Super Bowl team right now.
No.
Like, it does not even look anywhere near a Super Bowl team. So I find it more likely than not that 5 years from now, the way we talk about this is, Russell won one, Aaron won one, Brett Favre won one, Mahomes won one, Brees won one, Mahomes won one. Like, that's more so than it is that Mahomes has won 5.
Right.
Like, I think it's more likely that it's that case. As far as running backs concerned, I think if Derek can carry a team to the Super Bowl, then we can start having the discussion of the greatest running back of all time. Emmitt Smith has the all-time record, but I don't think anybody ever jumps off the table and says Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back of all time. I don't. He's
in the conversation of the greatest running backs of all time.
I don't really think he is.
Really?
No. I think that a lot of people think Jim Brown is the greatest running back of all time. I think Jim Brown, Eric Dickerson,
OJ?
No, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. Emmitt's
LT.
No, Emmitt's on the outside looking in. I don't think people consider Emmitt the best running back of all time. I think if Derek can single-handedly carry a team to the Super Bowl and win it, then I think we can start talking about, is Derek the best of all time. That's where the championship thing, I guess, comes into play. Trevor Maddich, we're going to take a 30-minute breather. We're going to have to talk to Trevor, get his thoughts on everything that went down in Knoxville on Saturday, not just the throwing mustard, though that is where we'll start, and then the game itself, and also college football. Got a big weekend coming up. We will get to that coming up next here on Stillman and Company. Saw my guys from Invigorate Health last night. That's right, they were at the game. Love Invigorate Health. InvigorateHealthTN.com. If you are feeling old, you're feeling tired, you're feeling fat, you're feeling sloppy, you're feeling like you're 55 years old and you want to feel like you're 25 years old, you need to talk to my friends at Invigorate Health. They have whatever treatments you will need, and they've got trained physicians and nurses that will find out what those treatments are. They'll draw your blood, and then once they draw your blood, they'll check your levels, and they'll say, hey, this is what you're missing. Maybe it's just a simple IV therapy. Get a couple of bags of the good stuff. Maybe it's that. Maybe your testosterone levels are low, and you need those taken care of. And Invigorate Health can do that as well. Whatever it is, they will take great care of. InvigorateHealthTN.com. Go ahead and take a look today. Look, I understand you don't want to feel like you're old and tired and fat and lazy, and so just give them a call. Just give them a call, get a consultation, get it going. They've got the M-Sculpt Neo, which is a $450,000 machine, where they put a plate right on you, and it vibrates with the electromagnetic lights, and those electromagnetic lights will help get rid of that fat, get rid of that cellulite, and help build muscle in the hard-to-lose areas. That's InvigorateHealthTN.com.
Thursday night.
He scores! Matt Duchene wins it in double overtime!
Matt Duchene and the Nashville Predators conclude their homestand in Smashville against the New York Rangers.
The crowd gets into it, so it was pretty awesome.
Pre-game at 6, face-off at 7 on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Fiero Tequila Habanero is for those who enjoyed the flavor of spice, naturally infused with fresh, vine-ripened peppers from farmers in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. Fiero Tequila Habanero is unapologetically the spiciest infused tequila available in the U.S. The hand-picked habaneros provide a delicious kick to the smooth Blanco tequila. It's a flavor punch that's perfect as a shot or a spicy way to spice up your hard seltzer, or perfect for a fiery cocktail. Available at fine liquor stores and your favorite drinking establishments. Fiero Tequila, the world belongs to the brave.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
With Fundbox, you can stop waiting and start doing. If your small business needs funds to grow, the time is now. Fundbox offers fast, easy access to small business funding up to $150,000. So hire that new employee, launch that campaign, buy that piece of equipment. Apply in minutes at fundbox.com, and you could get funding as soon as the next business day. Fundbox. Ready, set, grow. Credit line amounts, rates, and terms are based on creditworthiness and subject to change. Additional documentation may be required.
Friday night.
Caught for a touchdown. Middle Tennessee gets the score.
The MTSU Blue Raiders are on the road for a non-conference showdown against the Connecticut Huskies. Coverage begins at 4
on ESPN
94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Stillman and Company, great college football weekend, capped off by Tennessee and Ole Miss, which I thought was a great game. I picked the Vols to win. I thought they played well. And then their fans went bananas at the end of the game. And that was embarrassing. And Vol fans got mad at me yesterday, and they're going to get mad at me because there's a very loud part of the Tennessee fan base that feels like they had the right to throw stuff on the field. And that I have heard more whataboutism from Tennessee fans over the last week about, well, what about 1994 when so-and-so threw? And it's like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. But I do think that, again, it was not a good moment for them. Trevor Maddich joins us now, ESPN college football analyst, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters. Trev, what did you make of the ending of the Tennessee and Ole Miss game? And how bad of a look was that for Tennessee's fan base?
It was an embarrassment for the university, an embarrassment for the program, an embarrassment all around. And those Tennessee fans who threw things onto the field ought to be ashamed of themselves. But something tells me that they won't be, because they probably threw those things onto the field because they felt like they were entitled to. I mean, you can't throw a golf ball at the coach of the opposing team unless you bring a golf ball with you to the stadium. They allegedly threw some people screws onto the field. How many people bring screws to a football game and then just get so mad at the end they just can't resist throwing them onto the field? No, they came prepared to throw those screws onto the field as a message to Lane Kiffin. All of that is, if nobody gets injured, and I don't know of anybody that did get injured by that, all of that is an embarrassment to the program. But the fact that they intended to do it and then could have injured people, right, with the things they threw onto the field. It is very possible that could have happened. That is a step even beyond. And so those Tennessee fans who threw stuff onto the field embarrassed the ones who treated that game like you should. Hate the head coach if you want of the opposing team. Be mad at him for leaving your team after only 1 year and all the aftermath of that. Say anything you want to say. All of that stuff is part of college football. throwing things onto the field is a tantrum that puts others in danger and just basically humiliates the people that you claim to support.
Trev, here's my thing. And I said this yesterday, and I think Tennessee fans got mad about it as much as anything else, which is I don't think Tennessee fans understand how much this stuff hurts their brand, big picture, and how much it affects them, for what they want. They want to be a well-respected program. They think they're entitled to be a well-respected program in college football. They're not the only ones. Michigan thinks that. Nebraska thinks that. A lot of schools that aren't competing for titles or aren't close to competing for titles think that. But the difference is this all plays in hand. What you think of yourself and what the rest of the world thinks of you are two different things. And I think after this Schiano Sunday where the fan base vetoed a coach on Twitter and now stuff like this and, the firing of Jeremy Pruitt, and it looks like there's going to be a nasty lawsuit with all of that, I think that hurts the brand of the University of Tennessee and that it makes people, student athletes, prospective coaches that would normally love the opportunity to coach at a place with the resources and the money and the prestige of a Tennessee aren't interested in it because they don't want to deal with that circus. What do you think of that?
I think you're totally right. And from a standpoint of coaches wanting to come there and boosters wanting to be associated with it, et cetera, they now have a pattern. Like great Schiano or don't like him. Well, he was an assistant at Ohio State and was named as the next head coach of Tennessee. And Tennessee Twitter went ballistic over it for reasons that may or may not have been correct. I disagree with the reasons that I've heard stated. Either way, then Tennessee rescinded the offer, and Schiano went off directors, right, eventually. And so I think if you add that to what's happening now, if you are somebody that wants to be associated with this program in the future, you've got to look at that as a potential problem. Now, every program has got some crazies on the outlying side. But when was the last time you saw that kind of debris being thrown onto the field? Debris like things that are hard, like golf balls and screws and things like that being thrown onto the field. I don't think that's got to factor in. Also, you and I have talked, Jared, a lot about recruiting. And about what Josh Heupel is doing, especially on offense, it's got to be attractive to recruits in the future. Now, all of a sudden, future negative recruiters are going to be able to say, yeah, you can go to Tennessee, but that place is out of control. And then show them that. Show that to the parents. Do you really want your child to be associated with a program that does this, right? Now, whether or not that'll work, I don't know, but the door is now open. These are just some of the things that the people who threw this stuff onto the field opened the door to.
Trev, my bigger issue, too, was I thought it was a great game on Saturday, and I thought Tennessee played well. And sometimes I think it does take away from that. Now, I'm not going to defend the Tennessee fans, but I am going to say this. Did you think that Ole Miss was faking injuries on Saturday night? Because I did. And I do understand a little bit of the frustration with that.
It certainly looked like it. The generic answer to that is that the officials can't make the determination as to whether it appears to be fake. If a kid goes down, they have to assume that it's correct so that they're not wrong at some point and put the kid in even greater danger. So I get that. It sure seemed to me that was happening. And so I could see where the fans would be upset about that. I would be upset about that too.
What do you think the Vols proved on the field on Saturday?
They proved that they can go toe-to-toe with the 13th ranked team in the nation and be just a couple of plays away from winning. And that's the trajectory that they've been on. I mean, that 4th and 24 on their second-to-last drive, they got 23 yards on 4th and 24. And really, I thought it was the correct call to mark it short. But the fact that they were there, the fact that controversial call, the controversial in some people's minds, again, I thought it was correct, would only happen if they almost converted an almost impossible down and distance, but they didn't. But then the defense holds them to 3 and out, and the Volunteers get the ball back. Now, Joe Milton has to go in, and he made an inexplicable decision that I don't know that Hendon Hooker would have made with 3 seconds to go They're on around, where are they, about the 20-yard line or so. Yeah, there were 3 rushers that Ole Miss put out there. They had 3 guys. The running back stayed in the block, so there were 6 blockers against 3 rushers. And Milton bugged out of the pocket and went off to the left. There were all kinds of options that he had to get back behind blockers, to put blockers between himself and the 3 guys that were trying to rush him. But instead, when he bugged out to the left, he just started to run up the left sideline and then stepped out of bounds with no time left on the clock. At least he should have thrown the ball into the end zone in Hail Mary fashion and given his guys a chance to either catch it or get a penalty, right? But no, he just took off running and stepped out of bounds. Now it's not his fault they lost the game. Who knows that they would have scored on that drive anyway? But I think it's fair to say that they were close enough to winning that game, that one play seems to be the last best opportunity that they could have won. And this is against the 13th ranked team in the country with one of the best offenses in the country. And so the fact that we are upset that Tennessee didn't make a couple of plays at the end that could have given them the game should not obscure the fact that Tennessee was close enough to Ole Miss that they were in position to either make or not make those couple of plays at the end of the game that could have won it. And in the end, they lost by 5 points. And so, I think that they played very well. I think that they put themselves in position to win. And as time goes on, we'll see what happens in terms of making those kinds of plays. But I'm proud of the way they fought. Now they're going to have an opportunity to show that wasn't a fluke as they play Alabama.
Trevor Matich is with us, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters. Coming up next, LSU's got a coach opening. I think it's easy. I think it is easy to see where they're going to go here, but I want Trevor's thoughts on that. We'll do that coming up next. FanDuel Sportsbook, my official sportsbook app. I absolutely love the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Basketball season is back, and there's no better place to bet the NBA than FanDuel Sportsbook. To celebrate NBA tip-off, FanDuel Sportsbook is giving new customers enhanced odds. That's right, 75-1 odds on any team to win on October 19th or 20th. So I love the Orlando Magic, and I would just say, 75-1 on the Magic. I'm just saying. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give this a shot. FanDuel's easy to use. You have fast withdrawals, so when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Plus, they have live betting, so you can bet in the middle of a game. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code JGM to get 75-1 odds on any team to win on October 19th or October 20th. That's promo code JGM. Make every moment more this NBA season. 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in a designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man, and they fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans, this team has a knack for rising to the occasion in big games.
On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The 2021 Major League Soccer season isn't over yet, Nashville. Are you in? There are just 2 regular season home matches remaining as we make our final push for a playoff spot. Don't miss the action on Wednesday, October 20th at 7:30 p.m. against the Columbus Crew. Or catch the last regular season match of the season on Sunday, November 7th at 2:30 p.m. against New York Red Bulls at Nissan Stadium. Come be a part of the most unique sports experience in Nashville. Tickets are on sale now from just $22 at NashvilleSC.com. Everyone in.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah! The big dog's got it.
Craneworks is ready to help lift Nashville. As the Southeast's most trusted name in crane and equipment rental for over 30 years, Craneworks offers certified operators to make sure the job is done right. Rentalworks has a diverse fleet of equipment to assist in any project, big or small. From forklifts to carry deck cranes, they have it all. When it's time for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project, call Craneworks. Visit craneworks.com.
Got chronic joint pain? Not having success with steroids, but trying to avoid surgery? Well, thankfully, there's a better way. And now it's available here from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Hey, Willie Donick here. I'm talking about new therapies. Advanced, all-natural, regenerative treatments that can not only just give you relief, but can also restore and repair damaged tissue, so you can have lasting relief. If you've got joint pain due to arthritis, knee pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, don't just think the old ways of dealing with pain are the only ways. You need to learn more about these new biologic therapy solutions. Call now for a free consultation. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. These remarkable new treatments increase mobility, decrease pain, and help restore tissue. They actually encourage your body to heal itself. Call now and learn more about these restorative, regenerative, and revolutionary alternatives. Don't wait. Call today. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
Darren McFarland. That should get you in the mood for a game tonight. Willie Donick.
I think between 5.5 and 6 is probably in the ballpark.
Chase McCabe.
Typically, I like to take the most difficult task and do it first.
Darren, Donick, and Chase have you covered weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Curacion CBD on Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman and Company is on. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Trevor Maddich is with us on a Tuesday, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. When experience matters. Trev, LSU got a big win over Florida on Saturday, and they officially fired their coach on Sunday. Not sure I've ever seen that before, but then again, the Titans made the playoffs and won a playoff game and fired their coach. So who's to say? But Ed O fired. I don't think anybody was surprised by that. Here's my thing. Everybody's talking about who's going to be the next coach at LSU. I think this is simple. I think it's Joe Brady, and I don't think that I think that all this talk about, well, Joe Brady wants to stay in college is all leverage stuff, or in the NFL is all leverage stuff. I think he would love to be an NFL head coach, but when LSU calls and they offer you $4.5 million, you say, I want to stay in the NFL. Then LSU says 5, then they say 6. Then whenever you decide you're going to take the LSU job, I think Joe Brady will take the LSU job. I think it is that simple. And yet a lot of these betting websites and everything else have a lot of other candidates ahead of Joe Brady. What do you make of the LSU opening?
I think Joe Brady is a possibility. He was the offensive coordinator in the national championship year 2 years ago with Joe Burrow at quarterback. And so he understands LSU. He understands what it takes to win in the SEC and in college football. And he understands the kind of players that you need in order to get it done. And so he would be an interesting choice. He would have instant credibility because of that 2019 run. But I think it is legitimate, though, that he may want to try to keep running in the NFL for a while and see what happens there. The thing is, though, going to be a head coach at LSU, I think would bolster his resume if he's successful there to then jump back into the NFL. So not sure what he's thinking. He's a possibility, but he would be a good choice if he chose to come back.
I just think it's simple to me that I listened to an old Jared and the GM podcast, and this was when Edo took the job. And Floyd said at the time, LSU can get whoever they want. And I was like, well, they want Jimbo, but it's going to cost $100 million or whatever. And he said, okay. LSU can, whoever you want, you can get. If it costs you $100 million, it costs you $100 million. You can get whoever. And then when we saw how Jimbo went to A&M, I think it opened my eyes to the fact that ultimately everybody has a price. How far do you think LSU is willing to go?
I think they're willing to go as far as they need to go. You're right that they have resources that are really strong. They also have good facilities. They have everything you need. I mean, you can hit a 3-wood in any direction and hit, several dozen outstanding high school recruits, right? They're just right in the middle of one of the best hotbeds of high school football recruiting in all of college football. So all that stuff is good. I think that whoever goes there, if they're the right hire, can succeed right away because of that. When I say right away, I mean, within a couple of years. I mean, look at what Mel Tucker did this year at Michigan State. And he's a candidate for it, too. And I think he'd actually be possibly a better candidate for LSU than even Joe Brady because of what he's done at Michigan State. I mean, last year they were 2-5, Michigan State, and in his first year. And this year they're undefeated and ranked, I guess, now in the top 10. And he brought in like 40 guys from the transfer portal. I mean, he brought in a ton of guys and reworked that roster in a single year and turned them into a cohesive team. And I'm sure LSU is looking at that and thinking, okay, if he can do that here, I mean, if he could get guys out of the transfer portal that were talented enough to be that highly ranked, if they're able to be forged into a cohesive unit all of a sudden, if he can do that to Michigan State, then he sure ought to be able to do it in Baton Rouge. And so that he would be a really good possibility. Jimbo Fisher isn't going to come. I've heard people talk about Dabo Swinney of Clemson. No way is he going to come. Luke Fickell of Cincinnati, I don't think he's going to come, just because now that they're heading to the Big 12, his path to the college football playoff is a lot easier in a Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas than it would be in an SEC West with Alabama and Auburn and the rest of those folks. So, but I think Mel Tucker is a good choice. A name that's interesting is Mario Cristobal out of Oregon. I mean, he was a former Alabama assistant. He's really forged an SEC-style physical program up there in the Pacific Northwest with Oregon. But next year, he's going to have what a lot of people think is his best team returning. And I don't know that Phil Knight and Nike are going to let him get away. I think that they might just have to upgrade his contract more than anybody could really match. And so, or anybody would want to match anyhow. So when it comes down to it, you know, they'll be able to get almost anybody they want, but not Jimbo Fisher, not Dabo Swinney. I think that Mel Tucker would be a great choice if they decide to go after him and if he's willing to leave after 2 years.
Trev, why did it go so south so fast for Edo? I read the article in The Athletic that basically said Edo enjoyed his success too much and enjoyed being single too much and basically couldn't keep his hands to himself, which is wild for a young coach. An old coach? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. What do you make of why it all fell apart for Edo?
I think that when all those guys went to the NFL last year after the 2019 championship, I think he kind of fell apart. And rather than forge leadership, what he ended up doing was things that caused the team to tune him out. You know, the first thing was that, you know, he lost both of his coordinators. Joe Brady went off to the NFL. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator Dave Aranda goes off to be the head coach at Baylor. You know, they brought in Bo Pelini as the D coordinator, and that was a problem because he's mercurial, and they fired him after one season. And they brought in an offensive coordinator who's a pro-style guy instead of another guy like Joe Brady who would spread it out and be innovative. So that was a problem. But then the word out of Baton Rouge is that instead of remaining the CEO head coach and being a motivator and a leader, Orgeron lost his temper a lot. He would scream at players. He would do things that offended players. You know, he was unaware, for example, that in August of last year, the players wanted to go march one day on campus for social justice purposes. He didn't even know they were doing it, man. They weren't going to go to practice, and he had no idea until they didn't show up at practice. That's the allegation of how it all went down. So to not be aware of his team not showing up at practice, to not even know it, tells you something about how much the leadership of the team cared about keeping the coach informed. And then he had a couple of issues, legal issues relative to Title IX and the way he mishandled allegedly sexual harassment allegations against Darius Geis, former running back. And all of these things now that may have been worked out turn into deal breakers when you're not winning also. And I think the worst of it all is that through it all, the players have tuned him out. And once the players do that, no matter how your ties are to the local community, no matter how you reflect South Louisiana in terms of culture, once you start to behave like that and the players tune you out, you cannot keep going because you're not going to get them back. And so,
Trevor,
unfortunately, this is all about Ed Orgeron messing up.
Mm-hmm. Trevor Matich is our guest, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters. Trev, how many years have you been watching football?
Since I was about 4. So it's been a while.
Okay, and would you like to tell us how long that is?
No, but I will tell you this, that I've been working college football for ESPN this is my 18th season, so I will tell you that.
Okay. So Trevor's been watching football since they wore leather helmets. Have you seen what
leather had not been invented yet? It was wood helmets back then.
Oh yeah. Have you seen a running back at their peak better than Derrick Henry is right now at any point in your entire life of watching football?
Nope. Because what do you want from a running back, right? You want him to be fast. You want him to be elusive. You want him to have power. You want him to be able to catch. These are all things that Henry can do. But being that freight train that he is, well, I mean, how much does he weigh now? What, 245, 250, something like that?
I think he's like 242, something like that.
Yeah, when he took off on that long touchdown, and they showed it from behind, and he was just sprinting down the field, and defensive backs of Buffalo, maybe the best team in all of the NFL, defensive backs couldn't catch him. That to me said that, okay, this big, this fast, with some wiggle to him and all that stuff makes him not just the perfect running back, it makes him the kind of running back that if you built in a video game, the video game would flash this thing on the screen that says, okay, dude, I know you can do anything you want here, but this is too much. And yet he's a real live superhero that way.
I have a theory that Derrick Henry, like that right now, we're not appreciating how good he is. And like if that were the case, I think every game, everybody would want to buy tickets just to see Derrick Henry play. And I hope the fans realize that because this isn't going to last forever.
You know what? What you just said is huge because, you know, Lions fans that had a chance to see Barry Sanders live but didn't because the team wasn't, you know, winning enough. You know, Patriots fans that wanted to go see Tom Brady at the end, but then, he's going to be here forever. No, he's not, right? And you look at some of the greatest players to ever play, sometimes on teams that were not Super Bowl challengers. The fact that you have a chance to see a not just future Hall of Famer, first ballot, but one of the greatest ever to play the position is something that would show a little bit of perspective. And I hope people are thinking of Derrick Henry in that way.
Trevor Maddich, as always, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters. Trev, appreciate you. We will talk next week.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yep, Trevor Maddich, as always, joining us on the program. He says that he's been watching football for, would it be wrong of me? And I love Trevor. Would it be wrong
Don't
of me?
expose the man.
Well, all you have to do is Google the guy, and he's on Wikipedia, and it says how, you know.
He didn't want to share it. He's been watching it for a long time. Longer than I have.
I think he's 50. What do you think, 50?
Sure.
So he's been watching since he was 4. So in 46 years, Derrick Henry's best running back he's ever seen, according to that. If Trevor
in the past
50.
46 years have involved a lot of very good running backs.
You know, maybe he's 45.
Maybe he's 30.
I'm 32.
I'm just saying.
I'm old. I used
maybe
to be young.
He's young at heart.
615-737-1025. The Buffalo fans, don't listen to Joe Retro. The Buffalo fans invaded Nissan Stadium yesterday. But is it a bad thing? I think sometimes people think is it a bad thing? We'll discuss next on Stillman and Company. It's ESPN 1025 The Game and why it might be a good thing. And of course, we're streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube.
It's game day in Smashville. Brought to you by Hermitage, the Design Center.
And the shot off the goalpost, and the rebound comes home by Philip Forsberg.
The Preds seek their first win of the season on home ice against the LA Kings.
Want to win, especially at home, but it's 80 more games, so you just got to try to find our game.
Pre-game coverage begins at 6 on Smashville's Best Sports Talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey Nashville, we think you deserve the very best driving experience, and now is the time for our Season of Change CPO event at Mercedes-Benz of Music City. When you purchase a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you're backed by the remaining new vehicle limited warranty. Once that expires, the certified pre-owned limited warranty goes into effect, providing an additional 12 months of coverage with unlimited miles. See all the perks and exceptional offers for your certified pre-owned vehicle from Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
There are jewelry stores, and then there's Genesis Diamonds, the cutting-edge industry leader, the pioneer. It's no secret that jewelry stores across America watch what Genesis is doing. Genesis was the first to offer a free lifetime warranty, the first to offer a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee, the first to offer aggressive long-term zero-interest financing. And Genesis is always on the cutting edge in design and fashion. The styles other jewelers say are new and exciting were new and exciting for us 4 years ago. Genesis has the fashion-forward brands other stores aren't even allowed to carry. It's no wonder you see jewelers from other cities coming to Genesis to see what we're all about, and even buy their wives' jewelry from us. For selection, quality, service, warranties, and guarantees, Genesis leads. Others follow. So for diamonds, engagement rings, exclusive designer jewelry for any occasion, don't compromise. Come to the jeweler that sets the industry standards year after year. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. The NBA is back, and at DraftKings Sportsbook, the authorized sports betting partner of the NBA, the key to victory is a strong starting five. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game, and if they do so, you win $200 in free bets. So why not make your roster Washington, 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 oh yeah, and Washington. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get skin in the game with the same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Right now, use that code 1025GAME. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. Once again, use that code 1025GAME. This week at DraftKings Sportsbook, you must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing. Social Furniture on the West Side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social.
It's football season, and Social Furniture has the best lifetime guarantee motion furniture on sale now. Their sofas with recliners are push-button electric and wall-away with all colors to choose from for your comfort. Sectionals from $9.99, recliners from $3.99. Sectionals with Chase Lounge and all-electric recliners from $19.99. Social Furniture will have you football ready with all furniture that are plus leather, microfiber, and there's no waiting, and take home your new motion furniture today or with their same-day fine furniture delivery. Social Furniture has no down payments and no interest. You don't want to miss out on their best lifetime guarantee motion furniture sale going on now.
Shop local, shop social, 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving. TriStar Movers with 5-star service. With Jared Stillman. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Stillman & Company is delivered by TriStar Moving, ESPN 102.5 The Game. It is a Reaction Monday presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling and Focus Sparkling Water with a spark. Check them out at drinkfocus.com. We are streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks to the law offices of Amanda Gentry, live at Bridgestone Arena. Preds and LA Kings tonight, 7 o'clock. Hal Gill will join us in 30 minutes. So last night, we were out on the rooftop at Rock Bottom, and there were Bills fans everywhere. And then you look over at the other rooftop, and there were Bills fans everywhere. And then you look across the street at the rooftop, and there were Bills fans everywhere. Then you walked across the bridge, there were Bills fans everywhere. Then you go to the stadium, there were Bills fans all over the place. Now, Joe Rexroad said 25%. 25%. One of the worst takes Joe's ever had. Joe said 25% Bill fans. I'm going to say somewhere around 50-50, 60%.
I think 50-50 is fair to say.
Now, you were sitting up in the 300s.
Uh-huh.
Joe was sitting in the press box, which is on the home side, and you can only see below. You know, to me, those are like day one season ticket holders that have been there for forever, and those are Titan fans, and that's what you're going to see. You were up in the 300 levels. You said there were a lot of Buffalo fans.
A ton of Buffalo fans. And I would say when I was walking in the game, just the crowd that was around me was like 80% Bill fans, 20% Titans fans.
Okay, so Joe is obviously wrong, which is not a surprise. But I've been listening to sports talk radio in Nashville for a long time. And I want to congratulate the fans, at least so far, because I feel like in the past you win a game over the top team in the NFL, and the next day all the talk on the radio is Super Bowl, and yes, this is our year, and we're the best, and we haven't heard that today. And I think it's because we've all learned that with this Titans group, they are the same guys that lost to the Jets, that beat the Bills. It's like, let's not get too excited. Even if they beat the Chiefs on Sunday, I think Titan fans will be measured and be like, oh, no, Indianapolis the next week. And, the Titans can't live long with prosperity, which is a very measured belief. But I used to listen to the shows on a day like after the Steelers played. And, there'd be so many calls on the phones about, shame on all these Titan fans who sold their tickets to the Steeler fans. Because there were all these Steeler fans in there. Shame on all the Titan fans that sold their ticket to the Dallas fans. And there's all these Cowboy fans in there. And today, I haven't heard a lot of talk about that. I have not heard a lot of talk about, shame on these Titan fans that sold their tickets to the Bill fans. But I wonder this. Should Titans fans be upset that in some of their bigger games, it's not a home field advantage? It's not a home field advantage against the Buffalo Bills. It won't be a home field advantage on Sunday against the Chiefs. It wasn't a home field advantage 2 years ago against the Chiefs. It wasn't a home field advantage against the Eagles or the Patriots in 2018 when they packed the place. It wasn't a home field advantage for the defending Super Bowl champion or for the Titans against the defending champion Broncos in 2016. And when Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay came to town, you could hear a Go Pack Go chant. But all those teams left with a loss. So I'm a big fan of going places I've never been and wanting to see my team play. And guess what? When the Tennessee Titans go to Vegas to play the Raiders next year or whenever that is, guess who's going to be there? Me. Because I want to go see that stadium in Vegas. And if I wanted to go to L.A., I might go and see the stadium in Los Angeles this year. I'm not going to, but I might. But I have nothing against it. I went to one Atlanta Braves game this year. They're my favorite team. They're down 2-0 in the NLCS right now. I went to one game. It was on the road in Miami. I have no problem with going and seeing my team on the road. How can I get mad at others for having their support for their team on the road? But then I have to ask the question, how do the Titans keep sending these teams home with losses? And maybe that's why the fans are okay with it. Because every time these teams come to town and pack the stadium, every time they do that, all of a sudden, they leave with a loss. And we even talked about it. Hey, remember when all those Eagle fans came to town and they rented out the General Jackson before the game? And they packed that house and they all left with an overtime loss. Remember all those Patriot fans that couldn't get through the gates because Nissan Stadium took forever to open them up? And they left with a loss. And I am just convinced that maybe Titan fans have warmed up to the idea that at the end of the day, they're cool with sharing a 50-50 stadium because the other team loses so much in the 50-50 stadium. But I also feel like deep down inside, there are still those same people that hate the fact that the Titans aren't really ever going to have a true home field advantage. And I understand the sympathy, right? Like, I was at the AFC title game in Arrowhead, and I remember being in that place thinking, how does anybody ever win a game here? How do you ever win a football game with all these Kansas City Chiefs fans? You're never going to have that in Nashville. Even if the Titans make the playoffs where you can't plan as far in advance and buy tickets, I still think there's a pretty good chance that if one of these premier franchises like the Steelers were to show up here, there'd be a lot of Steeler fans. A lot of Steeler fans at Nissan Stadium. So I guess that's my question. One, do we have a problem with it since the Titans seem to win when they have these kind of games? And two, are the Titans ever going to be able to take their stadium back over? Because I kind of feel like with the advent of the secondary ticket market and with the popularity growth in the city of Nashville, that there is no way going forward. Like, for me, I have no problem with this because I understand all the factors that have played into it. And I like that Nashville's a tourist city. And I like the fact that people want to come here. And I like the fact that people spend their money here. And I like all of that. And I'm fine with it. But I do wonder, are the Titans ever going to have a true home field advantage?
I understand Titans fans being frustrated by it because Bills fans probably have every right to leave Nashville and say, hey, yeah, no, we lost. But, I mean, that stadium was just covered up with Bills fans. You know, we are so proud of our fan base traveling from Buffalo to Nashville and having such a big representation at the game. And I understand that for Titans fans, that's probably very frustrating. Like, yeah, we won, but why can't we get the support for our team in our city? Why are people flying from all across the country to support their team in our stadium, and we can't even do it when it's just down the street? I understand that frustration, but like you said, I think that comes with being a destination city. Like you said, a Las Vegas Raiders game. I'm sure there are plenty of Phillies fans, Steelers fans, Buffalo fans that probably travel to Las Vegas because those are destination places to go.
So the Chargers are never going to have a home crowd. Like, the Chargers are never. They played in L.A. where the Raiders used to play. And the Raiders are probably the top team in Los Angeles. And it was all Raider fans at the stadium. And when they played in that little soccer stadium, the Chargers did, it was all visiting fans. The Chargers are never going to be able to play, unless they win 4 Super Bowls in a row and then everybody just wants to do it because it's the cool thing to do. The Chargers are never going to be that kind of team. Maybe that's what it takes for the Titans, is for the Titans to be like the Patriots, where you have a decade of dominance. And then, maybe then that's when you become that. But the idea of what Lambeau Field is, or Soldier Field is, or Arrowhead Stadium is, or Seattle, any of those, never. And it was like that at first. The first years, it was like that. I've just decided it's never going to be like that. There is too much money to be made on the secondary ticket market for people to sell those tickets. And that's why I think, Joe Rexrode's opinion is more wrong, because he's sitting in the press box where the club level is above the press box and then the 300 level is above that. Well, the people that have the most money and thus wouldn't need to sell their lower level tickets are directly in front of Joe. So they're not going to sell their tickets. Even if they don't want to go, they're going to give them to people they know who are Titans fans, and so it's going to all be Titans fans. You're in the 300 level. You got 300 tickets. Those are a lot more inexpensive. So if you're paying $1,000 for the season or whatever it costs to be up in the 300 level, and you can sell that ticket for that game, and you can make $200 or whatever they were going for in the secondary market. I don't know. That is something I probably should have known or looked at. And you could sell that for $200. I understand why you would do it. Makes sense to me. So I'm a believer in the secondary ticket market. So I would love for the Titans to have a true home field. I'm just resigned to the fact that they will never actually have a true home field advantage in a home game against a premier franchise team, like an old school franchise team. It will never be 90% Titan fans against the Packers. It will never be like that against the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Bills, the Browns. It will never be that way against those teams. And I'm okay with it.
And I think there are a lot of problems that winning can solve. I think that the more and more that the Titans start winning and proving themselves and establishing themselves as a serious contender year in and year out, and you're getting people to buy in more and more, I think that starts to change things. And I think that there's also an element here that the Titans are a fairly new franchise. I mean, this isn't a Green Bay Packers team that's been around ever since the very beginning of the NFL. Sure. So I think that whenever, kids that go to Nissan Stadium and go to Titans games and are diehard Titans fans, and they start to grow up and they start to have kids, and this team starts to become more of an integral part of the culture of the city and this state, then I think things start to change. But I do think that winning solves a lot of things short term.
615-737-1025. We will get to your text because we have not done a good job on the text line today. So we will get to that next. Plus, Joe Rexrode, who again estimated 25% Bills fans yesterday. I think I could talk to the owner of the team and they wouldn't say 25% Bill fans.
25, I just can't get my mind around that. I know that Joe had a different perspective than I did. I just cannot get my mind around 25%.
Joe has fired back a both private and public rebuke.
Oh, wow.
Of our claims, which we will hit on next, and your phones. Play Silly Underdog Picks today. Pick 3 football underdog teams you think will win this week for a chance to win. Go to thegamenashville.com for more details and to play Silly Underdog Picks, brought to you by Volunteer Hose and Gasket.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown, 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man, and they fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We just had to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans. They made some big-time plays. They were great in the red zone.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Now at Lowe's, order any flooring like Stainmaster Pet Protect carpet, starting at $185 per square foot. See in-store associate or product detail page for warranty information.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice tailgate setup.
Thanks. Dos Equis?
Sure.
Really hits the spot.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Well, I hope your team never wins as long as I'm alive.
Same to you.
A dose of respect, brought to you by Dos Equis, proud sponsor of college football. Get a dose. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2021. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use only. Down payment may be required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Are you interested in starting your own business? Join the Blink Law Entrepreneur Summit on February 2nd for their one-day event to help anyone start a business. Not only will you hear from experienced entrepreneurs from a variety of fields, but all attendees will also get a one-on-one consultation with an attorney who will register your business. You will leave the event with certified documents and an officially registered business. This is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to jumpstart a new business. For more information and to register, go to facebook.com/BlinkLawLLC.
Hey, it's Jared. Your body needs water. That doesn't mean it has to be boring. And I'm here to tell you to give Focus a try. Focus is a sparkling water with a spark. It's infused with a boost of natural tea caffeine, so you get clean energy without sugar, calories, or crash. Go to drinkfocus.com to find the full lineup of flavors and get them delivered right to your door. Enter promo code GAME at checkout for 15% off your first order. Focus is also available at your local Publix. That's Focus, P-H-O-C-U-S, on the web at drinkfocus.com.
Brian Porth back again to tell you about Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine. Earlier this year, Dr. Rice, I was disappointed to have a cavity filling even after brushing my teeth all the time and having regular checkups.
Ryan, cavities are like any other health condition. You don't really know you have one until it gets bad. Recently, I saw a patient for treatment that they had been putting off. Something that could have been simple to fix 6 months ago turned out to need a root canal and a crown. Postponing treatment costs more and takes time away from work.
Well, I can attest to the fact that if I had not been doing regular checkups, I may have had to get a root canal by now. But thanks to your great staff that has been taking care of me for almost 15 years, my teeth are as good as they've ever been.
Well, we do things differently. I want to let people know that if they're afraid of pain or worried about the cost, they are not alone. Don't be embarrassed. We understand. Give us a call at 615-373-4488. That's KellyERice.com.
Dr. Kelly Rice, Family Cosmetic and Dental Sleep Medicine, 615-373-4488.
If you've missed any of today's show, just search Stillman and Company on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.
We're live at Bridgestone Arena. Normally we have headlines with Caroline, which are presented by Fiero Tequila, the spiciest infused tequila on the market. The world belongs to the brave. But today, Reaction Monday put into a Tuesday, so we'll hit the headlines tomorrow. Hal Gill will join us in just a little bit. But we're talking about the home field advantage. that the Titans don't have. Joe Rexrode, who said 25% of the crowd was Buffalo fans.
I just can't get on board with
25. Joe Rexrode texted me and said it was a massive home field advantage last night because it was 3 Titans fans for every Bill fans. Incredible inability to see/hear. Now, Joe also sent a tweet out in which Caroline responded with a picture of where she was sitting, and there were like 10 Bill fans in front of her and no Titan fans.
Which is such a small sample size, but it just goes to show that, like, at least where I was sitting, it was not 3 Titans fans to 1 Bills fan.
Now, Chase McCabe said, what was his guess on the fans yesterday?
I think he said 60% Bills fans.
Okay. What did you say?
I said it was 60% Bills fans, 40% Titans fans.
I think like
or like
55,
maybe like
60,
50,
something like that.
something around there.
Yeah.
Not more than 60%.
Okay, I think Chase sat in the lower level.
Mm-hmm.
I sat in the club level. You sat in the 300 level.
Yeah.
My buddy,
I was on the Titans side.
My buddy, is doing well in life,
Good
and
for him.
got the good seats, said 40 to 50% Buffalo. Joe is so far off his rocker. This is Joe's been wrong about a lot of things before, and nobody ever calls him to the carpet. You know, Freezing Cold Takes has to tweet about me every 5 minutes, like they did like an hour ago.
Did they really?
Yeah, I said when Jacob Eason hit a Hail Mary his freshman year at Georgia against Tennessee, or like hit a bomb to win the game, and then Tennessee hit the Hail Mary to win it. And I said, you know, with the first pick in the 2019 draft, the Rams select Jacob Eason. So in like 2016, I said that. And so Eason got released today, so Freezing Cold Takes tweeted that I said that. So like everybody gets mad at me, you know, whatever. This may be the most wrong Joe's ever been. Like, because 25%, who are you talking to? This is so like, let them eat cake. Joe in his ivory tower is like, no, you guys who were in the stands yesterday
You peasants in the
and
stands.
all have the same opinion are all wrong.
Joe has a rebuttal. He says, yeah, Bills fans gobbled upper seats pretty well. I saw that.
No, you did not. You were sitting 2 levels below the upper deck.
Says lower was massively less Buffalo presence than 2 years ago. Ultimately, sounds are the guide. Both teams made tons of plays, scored tons of points. The noise for Titan stuff was way greater than Bill stuff. Strong home field advantage.
You were at the game. Did you feel that way?
No.
I was at the game. Guess what? I didn't feel that way.
I didn't feel that way.
Watching on
felt like a
TV,
neutral site.
yeah, watching on TV, I was expecting the Bills fans to be louder, just based on the numbers I had heard. And I didn't think they were as loud. I thought the Titans fans were louder than I was anticipating, to be honest with you. But that was just being on TV. You know, I was expecting to hear the Bills fans be very loud. And while you could hear them, I thought the Titans fans were much louder than I thought they would be compared.
Let's go to your phone, 615-737-1025 text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. What do we have into the text line?
One texter texts in and says closer to 25% than 50%. There's
Oh,
absolutely
bull
no
crap.
way it was 50%. Quit saying they travel well unless you mean from across town. Yes, a ton did travel, but over half our local front runners didn't meet but one person actually from Buffalo.
Well, did you see the plane? Like the plane
Yes,
from
I
Buffalo,
did.
like-
And did you see the one lone Preds fan? As all the Bills fans were like going crazy on the plane, the one lone Preds fan was just sitting back in his chair, like, I'm just trying to get back home.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
Blake is up next. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Blake.
Hey, thanks for having me. I was just calling in to give like a slightly different perspective about being a lifelong Vandy fan and how one thing about being a Vandy fan is you're always the underdog. And there's nothing more beautiful than being the underdog and beating everybody around you. Now, like being at the game, there's no way that it was what Rex Road says, but there were, you know, several fans around me that were Bills fans, and they were pretty mouthy. But when we beat them, they shut up quick.
I mean, I didn't think there was like, and I appreciate a call, Blake. I didn't think there was angst like the Eagle fans.
It seemed like all kind of like fun camaraderie to me from Bills fans. I don't think I never experienced anyone being like totally nasty. There was an expletive shouted toward me, but I think overall Bills fans were just happy for their team and excited for their team and kind of rowdy, but not necessarily rude.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have an issue with Bill fans. This was not like the Eagle fans a couple years ago. What else we got?
They looked like they were having a good time, which is good.
Oh, by the way, Joe is hate texting me. And I should only read this on the air because.
Joe is responding to texts in the text line that are in Joe's favor.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Joe, you're off the clock.
So Joe comes on Jared versus Joe. And by the way, Jared versus Joe is going to be a hype tomorrow. I can already tell you. But Joe, like on Jared versus Joe, starts responding to all the texts into the text line, like after he's off. Like, oh my God. Okay, so Joe said, "You don't have to sit in the upper deck to see it, doofus. You didn't sit there." I said, "She did."
I was there, Joe.
She did. Chase sat in the lower level. I sat in the club level. Caroline sat in the upper level, and we all felt the same thing. Which means, in this case, of 4 people, you are 25% wrong. And that we are 75% right, unlike your stupid claim earlier. So anyway,
Point 1 for the home team.
I replied to Joe, and I said, she did. She sat there. He said, great. And she was around a ton of Bills fans, which is going to influence how she feels about the crowd. Joe is the only person on the planet that believes what Joe just said, except for the people in the text line where we can talk about anything and you can get somebody to reply to it that will say that they agree with some kind of take. That truly Joe is the only person, oh God, oh Braves almost hit a home run, that Joe is the only person who believes that and the people that Joe is replying to in the text line. I'm sorry. What are some of the texts Joe's replying to? And give me Joe's replies too.
So this texter, the one that I just read, saying quit saying that they travel well unless you mean from across town, saying that only a couple people were from Buffalo. Joe said, thank you. This is mind-boggling. And the texter responded and said, perplexed. But Drew texted in and said, we were at the game in the club level, section 216. Throughout tailgating, it seemed we were outnumbered 2-1. I do have to say that. There were so many Bills fans tailgating. But Drew says, in our seats, Bills fans on all sides, all good people to talk to. It was a minimum of 50-50. I would guess somewhere between 60-40 and 65-35.
65-35 Titan fans?
I would say this texter makes it seem like there were more Bills fans than Titans fans. They say there were Bills fans sitting all around him at the club level.
So a couple of years ago, the Packers came to town. And Floyd's son had tickets in a suite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like through work or something. And, this is probably one of the tough parts about having kids. Floyd didn't want to go to the game and talk to people. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go to the game and hey, Floyd, what'd you think of that play? Like, he don't want to do that. But his son was in a suite, and so his son wanted to bring him. So Floyd, decided to go. And I remember, too, because of the pregame show, I'm like, I bet you hate that. And he said to me, he goes, I'll just drink their beer and eat their hot dogs, and, it'll be fine and whatever. And I would laugh or whatever, but I knew he didn't like that. So before, we were talking about Packers, and I was like, I think it's going to be more Packer fans than Titan fans. And he was like, that is preposterous. Ha, 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 ha. I'm like, dude, this ain't like when you were GM. Like, this is not like that.
Yeah.
And he came back on Monday, and he was like, I don't think it was 50-50. I think there were more Packer fans than there were. And if anybody's listened to this show, you know how hard it would be for him to say something like that to me.
Yeah.
Like, how hard it would be for him to say that he was wrong and I was right. Like, how hard that was on him. And Joe will not say it, even though everybody knows that Joe's wrong, right? Like, let's kick it around the room. Ian, is Joe wrong?
Without me being there, I'm not sure it's fair for me to say.
Well, Joe is sitting in his ivory tower, and he's saying it like we're all idiots for sitting in the crowd and feeling that way.
Well, he was at least in the stadium. It's hard to tell. I thought it was less Bills fans than I thought there would be on TV. I'll say that. It's hard to say, though.
A lot of people who are texting in saying that they watched on TV and they said it looked and sounded like mostly Titans fans. But
it kind of did.
I did not get that vibe.
But maybe that's just because the lower bowl is more visible on TV, But even some of those end zone shots where you saw the Titans kind of getting fans gearing up on third down, and there were still a lot more Titans fans yelling and screaming and slapping the things than I kind of thought there would be.
Joe sent in a text to me and said, ask anyone.
Ask anyone?
The three of us went to the game.
You can ask. Okay, ask any of us.
I mean, did you go to the game?
Yes, I went to the game.
I'm asking you, is Joe wrong?
I think Joe's wrong.
Okay.
One texter texted in and said 60-40 Titans fans. I could maybe get on board with that, but I'm not going higher than that.
I don't. Tony Husband, Nashville SC, replies on Twitter and says, living just across the river, it was marginally louder when the Titans scored, but downtown was transformed into Little Buffalo this weekend. I expected them to be louder.
It really was Little Buffalo when I drove
it'll be Little
downtown
Kansas City
yesterday.
In 4 days.
Yeah. It was definitely Little Buffalo.
I mean, prepare yourself for the fact that it's going to be Little Kansas City. Sean is up next. Thank you for calling the show. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, hey, I think you really need to understand the relationship with the NFL schedule because you keep using the Green Bay Packers as an example. You know, the Green Bay Packers only play in Nashville once every 8 years because of the scheduling. You know, and so, of course, it's going to be mega Green Bay fans here in Nashville when they only play here once every 8 years. Similarly, when it was 49ers a year ago or two, there was a ton of 49ers fans.
So here's where I disagree with you. I appreciate your call, Sean. Buffalo's been here 3 years in a row. Like, they've been here 3 seasons in a row. Like, the odds and the scheduling and whatever.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed much. Sean Reese has texted me. Said, we share the same colors with the Bills. Packers fans would stick out like a sore thumb. You wouldn't be able to miss them. And Floyd was thrilled to attend that football game with me.
Aww.
Which, by the way, Floyd left early.
But I do have to say, like, Bills fans, and one of my best friends is a die-hard Bills fan, born and raised in Buffalo. Bills fans don't just wear, like, a Bills shirt with, like, jeans and a jacket. Bills fans wear Bills pants, a Bills jersey with a Bills shirt underneath, and a Bills hat and some sort of Bills-related overalls. Like, when you see a Bills fan, you know it. But to Sean's point, they have the same colors.
Titans, by the way, getting the number 2 crew on CBS this weekend.
Woo-hoo.
So Titans Chiefs getting the number 2 crew. Hal Gill from the booth. Preds and LA Kings tonight. And I am mad at the Predators. Did not take long. 2 games. And I'm already mad. The 102.5 The Game has your chance to win Preds tickets during the month of October. Just post a picture of your radio dial set to 102.5 The Game on social media, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Tag the game and use the hashtag TicketDash to be instantly qualified to win. Show us your dash, brought to you by Social Furniture. Support local, support social.
This is Colton Sissons, and this is Smashville.
Feeds now Sissons coming on from the left circle, and Colton Sissons puts it in the net.
This is the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Bring home unstoppable comfort with a new Train heating and cooling system. At Train, we test so it runs. Visit traininfo.com to find your local dealer. It's hard to stop a train.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical breakthrough. The Wave technology at Hillside Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 615-576-5000.
Hey, Darren McFarland here. The NBA is back, and at DraftKings Sportsbook, the authorized sports betting partner of the NBA, the key to victory is a strong starting 5. New customers can bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game, and if they do so, you win $200 in free bets. So why not make your roster Washington, 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 oh yeah, and Washington. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also get skin in the game with the same game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Right now, use that code 1025 Game. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. Once again, use that code 1025 Game this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health, if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
From curriculum-based literacy programs and sport leagues to college tours and workforce readiness tracks, Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provide a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. You can support local youth and their great futures by donating at bgcmt.org.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Stillman and Company, we are live inside of Bridgestone Arena and, of course, right here on ESPN 1025 The Game, where all of our broadcasts at Bridgestone Arena are brought to you by the Hermitage, the Design Center, the professional source for lighting and hardware, appliance, custom kitchens, and bath on the web at gohermitage.com. Hal Gill is in the booth. Harold, how are we today?
I'm fantastic. Beautiful day here in Nashville. Everyone happy about a win last night. We're hoping for another one tonight.
There you go. So I have a bone to pick with the Predators, and the bone is going to be picked with you. And this offseason, David Boyle talked about the need to get younger and trade guys and move guys and make moves and things like that to get younger. And he talked about, trading for Cody Glass because they like the potential. And they put Tomasino in the opening night roster. And they're going to play Tolvanen and they're going to play Fabro and Carrier and all these young guys. And then it took him one game to drop Tomasino out of the lineup. And I think he's got to play because I've been sold by the Predators people that Tomasino is the future. And so it's one game he's out. And now Cody Glass, who he's already been traded twice. I know he was a high pick a couple years ago, but he's already been traded twice. Cody Glass has now been sent down to Milwaukee, and it's been less than a week. And I'm sitting here saying, wait a minute. What happened to giving the young guys a chance? And last year they said they were going to give the young guys a chance, and then they took the young guys out. And so now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all these guys that they hyped up this summer, it feels like they're not giving a fair chance to. I'm okay with losing as long as you're building for the future, but if you take the young guys out, then are you really building for the future with these young guys? And it's got me all hot and bothered. What are they doing, Hal?
Well, I think you're misunderstanding developing young talent with just sticking them in a lineup, and there's certain positions that we'll say, like, you just throw them out there, let them make mistakes, and we'll lose, and because of their mistakes. And it's a fine line between throwing a guy out there and letting him make mistakes, and then throwing him out there and when he's trying to keep his head above water and losing confidence. I think in the case of Cody Glass, I think he goes down and he plays, gets his feet under him, gets some confidence in Milwaukee, and then comes back up and we continue his development. The beauty of him is you can send him up and down. You can play that game without losing him. And with these young guys, every guy develops a different way. And so I think you have to say, yeah, of course you want to win. You don't want to sacrifice wins, but you don't want to sacrifice. More importantly, you don't want to sacrifice someone's confidence and someone's skill and how they're supposed to play with just, last thing I want to see is Tomasino get over the blue line or over the red line and dump it in. I want to see him make plays. And if he's not going to be at the level where he can go out and make plays and be confident to make plays, then I don't want to see him at the NHL level. And I think he needs some time to sit back and practice with the coaches, look over film. I assume he's going to get back in at some point, just the same way Cody Glass is going to get back in. I just think you need to take time and develop these guys the right way. And it doesn't always mean stuffing them in a lineup where they're not going to fit. I think the development is a lot more involved in that.
So Crispy said on the show last week, I asked him, what do you look out of the young guys? And Crispy said, I want to see how they react. I want to see when things don't go young Tomasino's way. I want to see how he gets back out there on the ice. And I want to see how he reacts. And so I watched Thursday night, and I'm watching Tomasino play, and I saw, I thought he was a little too timid. I think, he knows he's got talent, but I think when he was out there, it felt to me like he felt like he was small, like that he wasn't big enough or fast enough to play with these guys yet. And I wanted to see Tomasino on Saturday night, see if he could make an adjustment on that. Hines drops him out of the lineup. So what Crispy is telling me he would have looked for as a coach in Tomasino, how can Hines see that if he's going to take him out of the game on Saturday night? And I just don't see the purpose in this. I don't see the purpose in if he's here to not be in the lineup consistently. If you want to drop him to Milwaukee because he's not ready, that's fine. But then you can't really hype us up on the young guys until they're actually here. And it just seems like a lot of mixed messaging coming from the Predators. And that makes me think that maybe they are overstating what their plan really is.
Well, okay, but that's the thing is, okay, pay attention. It's about developing a player. If you put a kid out who had a maybe not a strong
well, I know that, but David didn't say that this
summer.
Hal, David did not say that this summer. David said we're going to play the young guys. And now you're telling me, well, maybe they're better off developing the young guys if they don't play them.
Okay, so they're bringing up Novak tonight. He's going to play. He's a young guy that's coming in, and he deserves a shot. And you sit a guy down or send a guy down so he can develop his game so that he can come back and say, you go through a game, you see what you did right, you see what you did wrong, you say, okay, these are the things I need to work on because the NHL is, like you said, it's bigger, faster, stronger. It's a whole different game, and it might just be a fine tuning of what you have to do, but you have to do everything at a faster pace, and so you need to learn that pace. And so there's a ton of value in being exposed to it, saying, okay, this is what I need to get to, and then going back and working on what you need to work on because you've seen it and now you see, okay, this guy is going to close his time and space a lot faster, and he's a bigger guy, so I need to move the puck quicker. And so you go down and you work on it, or in practice, you go and you work on those little things because you realize how much faster the game is. And so once you do that, you come back and you have a new appreciation for the game, you have a new understanding of the game, and then you go out and you perform. And it just takes time. I think it's foolish to just say, okay, go play him. It's not about – that's the way the league isn't like that anymore, where you just say, let this guy play it out and see where he lands. You have to manage how he's doing it. You can't just say keep throwing him out to make the same mistakes because you end up getting squash confidence, and it's a bad thing all around. You want to go slow with these guys, and if they're ready, then, yeah, go ahead and play them, of course. But if they're not ready, you got to pull them back out and help them, teach them the game, learn what they need to do to be successful, and then bring them back up and let them go again.
I hear you.
And you can disagree, Jared. I understand you disagree.
I'm just telling you what I disagree with what we were told all summer.
I'm just telling you what I think they're doing and what the Preds are doing. So you have the rest of the show to tell everyone whatever you want. But you had me on, so I'm telling you what I think and what I think the Preds think.
I hear you. It seems like it's all mixed messages. It's all like, today we're going to say this, and then tomorrow we're going to do that, and then today we're going to.
It's not mixed messages.
Movement.
They said they want to play the young guys. They want to get them in. They do. If they're not ready, then they're not going to. They're not. It's foolish to just keep dumping kids out on the ice and saying, "Go ahead and I know your head is below water and you're drowning, but you're going to have to deal with it." I think there's a time and a place when you say, hey, work through certain things, but this isn't it. And I think they're playing it smart and developing young players, and it takes time. And you know, like Roman Josi is one of the best defensemen I've ever seen play hockey, and he spent time in Milwaukee and he learned his game. Matthias Ekholm went down. I played with him for 2 games, and he wasn't good, and he went back down, and he's one of the best defensemen in the NHL. You need to develop your game, and it takes time. And so don't write these young guys off just because they're out of the lineup. There's a lot of good players that are coming into the lineup that deserve to be in the lineup, and so they're going to wait their turn, and they're going to learn how to play their game, and they're going to go work at it.
Hal Gill with us. Any concern over the first 2 games? Both close games, both close losses. Team fought till the end. It's early in the season. What do you make of that?
Yeah, you know what? I do think they played. I think they played a pretty good game. Both games were pretty good. You know, you look at it, and it's hard because it's, you know, on Thursday night it was, what was it? It was like 3 plays. Saturday night was 3 plays that, you know, like Johansson has a good goal and Svechnikov has a beautiful goal, and those are, other than that, the game is pretty even. And so it comes down to, you know, making plays, and it was tight contested the whole way through, and I think that's what you're looking for from a team, is especially after they've talked about, like you said, that competitive rebuild, that like they want to go out and compete every night, and then they'll learn how to win those games. They have young guys, like you said, they're coming in, they need to learn how to win, but I do think it's just a matter of a few plays, and they just need to make a couple more of those plays, and they'll turn it around and get wins. But I'm optimistic with the way that they've competed and the way that they've played for, you know, it hasn't been beautiful for 60 minutes each game, but they're certainly competing, and that's what I'm very optimistic about.
Hal Gill, as always on the program. Hal, appreciate you. We look forward to you chatting it up from the booth on the pregame show in literally like 5 minutes.
Caroline, just wave so I know you're there. No,
hey,
she's
Hal,
not
I'm
there?
here. I'm alive.
Oh,
I'm
good.
good. I'm out
good
here.
to hear from you. Next
yeah,
time,
thanks for checking
let's
in.
talk.
I appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey,
Enjoy the game tonight.
See, Hal, I think you're on my side about this with the young guys.
See ya.
Hal makes a good point in that, I mean, I'm not a hockey guy, but when we were promised young guys, when we were promised a youth movement,
could you imagine
I
if
thought
Urban
that's what
Meyer
we
said,
would get.
Could you imagine if Urban Meyer said, you know, Trevor, first game, made some mistakes, so we're going to put him on the bench for this game so that he can.
It's too soon, in my opinion. When we were promised a youth movement, we were promised a quote-unquote competitive rebuild. In my understanding of what that meant, the core of what this team was going to be this year was going to be the young guys. So moving forward in 3, 4, 5 years, the young guys aren't young anymore, and the inexperienced guys aren't inexperienced anymore. And that's how you build a championship team. To me, 2 games is too quick to move guys down. It's too quick to make your assumptions about guys.
You want to know what I think?
What do you think?
I think that they got a lemon in Cody Glass, and they know it. But because they remember how the returns for Arvidsson and the returns for Ellis just got torched.
Mm-hmm.
They made this move, and they're like, well, he was picked 5th overall or whatever a couple years ago, and we love him. Like, they're the only ones that think that. And then they got him on the ice, and they realized why he's been traded twice.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, that kind of sucks.
But how do you make that assumption in 2 games?
Because you can make an assumption on bad early. Like, if you put me at quarterback for the Titans, you could decide real quickly that I can't play.
Well,
but
yeah,
if you were to,
if
you were to put like a legitimate prospect at quarterback, you can't decide in 2 games. But if you know a guy stinks, you know it really quickly. Like that's, Des Fitzpatrick.
Well, then if they can make that assumption really early, then I guess they did make the right move.
But they hyped it up all summer that, hey, we got this guy, and evaluation's half the problem anyways. That we've been complaining about. With why are they trading this guy? Why are they getting rid of that guy? Why are they bringing in Kyle Turris? Why are they? So I think they realize they screwed up on Glass. I think the Tomasino thing is the coach doesn't think he's ready, but the team wants him in. So that's what
is John Hines? He's a developmental guy. He's one of those guys. He's a coach for the younger players.
John Hines is in the last year of his contract. That's what John Hines is.
Yes.
So winning and
2
losing.
of those things can be true.
So winning and losing matters. And remember last year, he took the young guys out.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches don't like young guys. Floyd used to always tell me. That's why Bill O'Brien, when he took over the Texans, traded away 2 first-round picks for Laramie Tunsil. Now, you tell me what you rather have, the 3rd pick in this year's draft or Laramie Tunsil.
Probably the third pick in this year's draft.
But that's what the coaches do, is they want the experienced players because that's how coaches
Because they know them and they know what to expect, and they, the rookiness has worn off.
And that's...
I get it.
So that's my vibe.
Then don't call yourself a developmental coach.
Well, every coach is going to call themselves a developmental coach.
But that's what we've heard so much about John Hines.
Except for Phil Jackson. He's like, you give me the superstar, and then I'll go win the championship.
He can do what he needs to do.
That's the difference. Hey, Preds fans, join us for Smashville Live tomorrow on 102.5 The Game. Special guests will be Rocco Grimaldi and Philip Tomasino. The show will air on Wednesdays during the Preds season from 6 to 7, featuring Preds players, former players, and other special guests. You can watch the game via 102.5 The Game's Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and thegamenashville.com. Be sure to join us this season for Smashville Live. Quick addition of Caroline's. Quick Preds game day. Next.
Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown. 76 yards.
The Titans hold on for a monster Monday night win against the Bills.
We got some dogs over there, man. They fight to the end. We knew it was going to be a fourth-quarter battle. We got to stay with it.
We're reacting all day.
Talking Titans, this team has a knack for rising to the occasion in big games.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Announcing a rare opportunity for huge savings. If you're in the market for replacement windows or doors, Saturday, October 23rd, Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville is having an open house, offering 10% off all merchandise. That even includes 10% off their current special offers. Mark your calendar and stop by the Pella Windows and Doors in Cool Springs, October 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for these great deals. Bring your measurements or snap a picture of your replacement needs and come to Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. Call today, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. I play at BetUS, and so should you. BetUS.com.
Use code GAME for a sign-up bonus.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Football is back, and Electronic Express has what you need to make the game bigger than ever. Bring the stadium to you with the best in-home entertainment from Samsung, LG, Sony, Hisense, TCL, and more. Watching the game on the go? Save big on laptops, tablets, and headphones. Plus, we have all your appliance needs up to 50% off, and get up to 36 months free financing. We've got you covered this football season at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
If you are experiencing persistent shoulder pain that may be the result of overuse or an injury such as a rotator cuff tear or tendonitis, the world-class orthopedic team at Houston Clinic Orthopedics will give you the appropriate medical attention to prevent any additional damage to the shoulder. Chronic pain or a permanent injury may occur without proper treatment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics is conveniently located where you work and live. Visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online. When experience matters, trust Houston Clinic Orthopedics.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429, has a path to a dignified career. Are you a skilled electrician or lineman? Tired of dead-end, low-paying jobs? Local 429 is accepting applications for highly skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to IBEW429.org. IBEW Local 429, the best training and training the best.
This is Stillman and Company. Delivered by TriStar Moving.
Stillman and Company, it's time now for Predators game day.
It's Hockey Night in Smashville.
Deflects back for Duchesne. His shot stopped, and the score!
What are the keys to victory tonight? What's being said in the locker room? Where do the Preds reside in the Central Division standings? Jared Stillman has the latest now. With Preds Game Day on Stillman and Company. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville. This is Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Predators and the LA Kings tonight. Predators look to get off the mat and get their first win of the season, coming in at 0-2. John Hines on the improvements he wants to see.
For us, I think
consistency in our game is important. And I'd say the other one is, our special teams, our penalty kill has been pretty good, but, special teams here has to be better. Our power play has to be more of an improvement. I think, 5-on-5, we do lots of good things, but I think if you're going to be able to have ultimate success, the special teams do play a big factor.
So there you go. Time now for Caroline's, where we'll take a look at the lines on tonight's game. Caroline's presented by BetUS.
Spread on tonight's game is 1.5. Nashville Predators favored -142. I'm going to take the Preds -142 tonight. I think they get their first win on the season tonight.
Good. Tell us about Caroline's.
Caroline's brought to you by BetUS, America's favorite sports book. For over 25 years, you can sign up at BetUS.com, mention game, and get a sign-up bonus on your first deposit.
That's going to do it for us. We're out of here. Pre-game next.